So guys, what if Naruto was neglected from Frozen Legacy and had Pervy Samui, a slave movie? Walking in the dark woods of the feared forest of death was a young boy with bright blonde hair and ice blue eyes wearing a pair of tattered black shorts, ruined red shirt and a pair of worn-out shoes. No, most would find it odd to see a young boy barely 6 years old to walk in a place with such a name, but this boy was different. This boy went by many names: Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze to those who knew nothing of his family life, just Naruto to the few that did, but they mostly used the name Demon, the scorn of the village. Why is this village filled with such idiots? I mean, come on, this is the 6th time this week that those dumb asses chased me into here, and for what? To get revenge, bunch of morons, Naruto yelled in frustration at the sheer idiocy of the villagers. Walking further and further into the forest, Naruto sees his one safe haven in the entire village, a large cave. To most it would be strange to call a cave a safe haven, but to Naruto, it was like paradise since no one knew about it but him. Walking inside the large cave, Naruto walked until he reached a large open area with a few things that he used to train, like a couple of practice dummies and some stray kunai and shuriken and a few scrolls here and there. It's good to be back here. Sometimes I wonder why I ever go back to that village, Naruto muttered to himself before shaking his head, getting rid of the thought. Not the time to think of any of that. Today's the day I explore some more of this cave. Who knows, I might find something of worth. Oh, you have no idea. Grabbing a flashlight and some rope, Naruto heads towards further into the cave. After hours of exploring, Naruto was starting to get frustrated. Rocks, and look more rocks. Kami, why can't I find anything in this stupid cave? Venting his frustration, Naruto kept kicking a wall until he hears 2 different sounds. Crack. Bam. Fuck, I think I just broke my foot, cried Naruto, holding his injured foot whilst looking at the now broken wall. And hate, stupid wall hurting my foot like that. Why I oughta wait a wall. Finally I found something, yada. Forgetting about his injured foot, Naruto starts walking down the new path. I swear if I find nothing but more rock I am going to flip, Naruto whispered to himself. Walking for what felt like hours, was actually 10 minutes, but he is 6 and has short legs. Naruto found something he didn't expect to find. Right in front of him were 2 massive metal doors covered in rust with a large circle in the middle with a faded image of a dragon's head. What the hell is something like this doing in a cave? Walking closer to get a better look at the doors, Naruto became curious as to what could be on the other side of the doors. So he placed both of his hands on the door, using all the strength his 6-year-old boy had to try and open the doors, but they didn't budge at all. Stupid doors won't budge. Walking away from the door in sadness that it wouldn't open, Naruto turns on his heel and runs at the door, hoping the added speed would help him, only to trip and go face first into the door, causing his head to bleed, which splattered on the door as he fell on his back. As the dripped down the door, the blood stopped moving and began flowing upwards to the center of the door, making it glow before stopping. Still dazed from his trip to the floor, Naruto held his head in pain. Using the door to hold himself up, Naruto wiped blood from his head with his free hand, still not noticing the door glow slightly until it flew open, sending Naruto to the floor once again, pissing him off. Okay, I have had it with this fucking cave. First my foot, then my head, and now I am being made to eat the dirt by a door. A fucking door, ranted Naruto, but stopped when he looked at the room he fell into with wide eyes. The room looked ancient and was covered in ice from the floor to the walls. The only wall still viable through the ice had faces carved into it, reminding him of the Hokage mountain. The most shocking part was a large blue orb floating in the center of the room, surrounded by pillars of ice and stone. What is something like this doing here? Naruto acts aloud, walking closer to the orb, being careful so not to slip on the icy floor. Naruto got a clearer look at the orb and saw a shadow floating in the middle of the mysterious orb. Wanting to find out what it was, he carefully edged closer to it, but almost fell when a voice boomed around the room. So someone with the blood of the past has finally found this place, though I didn't think it would be one so young. Why are you here, boy? Boomed the voice, scaring Naruto. I found this cave years ago when my family locked me out of the house and the villagers chased me into the forest of death, and I have been coming back ever since. This is the only safe place I know of, answered Naruto, scared he had trespassed and was about to die for it. Why would your family lock you out, and for what reason would these villagers chase you? The voice asks in a slightly gentler voice. My family don't care about me. My father thinks I am a waste of space that isn't worthy of breathing, and my mother doesn't even look at me. Naruto had tears gather in his eyes. Think about it, but the worst is my sister Mito. She knows that they don't love me and rubs it in my face every chance she gets, wiping the tears away. Naruto continues, as for the villagers, they see me as a demon because my father sealed the chakra of the Kyuubi into my sister and the soul into me, finished Naruto with anger in his voice. These people foolish to think such things about you. I can sense you potential to become a strong fighter, and even Theseus' old eyes can see you are no demon. Naruto wasn't sure, but he swore he heard the anger in the voice's voice. Child, do you wish to prove them wrong? Show them the power you hold within you? Not expecting the voice to ask anything, Naruto could only say one thing. You say something. Somewhere in Konoha-Achu, why do I suddenly feel a sense of pride? Asks a white-haired man before shrugging and went back to reading an orange book. Giggle, oh Hitomi, you naughty girl. The poor bastard never noticed the group of kunoichi behind him. Back with Naruto, I said, would you like to prove everyone wrong about you? Asks the voice again, a little irritated at what Naruto said. A shocked look appeared on Naruto's face but was soon replaced by one of confusion. No offense, Mr. Voice, but how can you teach me you're a voice? Asks Naruto was not understanding how a voice could teach him how to be a strong badass fighter. Ha ha ha, I suppose that this is my fault for not introducing myself face to face. Look at the orb, child, and you will see how. Looking over to the blue orb, Naruto was shocked to see the shadow start to move and walk out of the orb, revealing an old man with long gray hair and chilling blue eyes with a scar going from his eyebrow to the bottom of his eye. My name is Kuei Liang, or better known as Sub-Zero, but starting from now you will be calling me Master, stated Kuei with a smirk on his face at seeing the look of awe on Naruto's face. After announcing Naruto as his student, Kuei expected many things like a small bow or a cheer of excitement. He was not, however, prepared for the bombardment of questions the little blonde kept asking him. What will I be learning? A small tick mark appeared on Kuei's head. Will I be able to blow stuff up? The tick mark got bigger. How did you get that scar? Kuei's balled his fist. Will I learn cool fighting styles? Left eye beginning to twitch in irritation. Will I shut up? Shouted Kuei in irritation at the constant questions. Seeing that he pissed off his new teacher already, Naruto bowed. Sorry sensei, it won't happen again, promised Naruto, getting a nod for Kuei. See that it doesn't, but since you are so eager to learn, I will tell you what this place is. Millennia ago there were many worlds, but two were in a constant war. They were this world known as Earthrealm and the other was known as Outworld. To stop this war, the Elder Gods created a competition that pitted the best warriors from both worlds against each other in mortal combat. Earthrealm won, but the leader of Outworld, Shao Kahn, attacked anyway. We won, but it cost us greatly. As punishment, the Elder Gods destroyed him. Looking to Naruto to see if he was still paying attention, he was happy to see the amount of attention Naruto was paying to his story. It was later discovered that Shao Kahn had been manipulated into attacking Earthrealm by a sorcerer called Quan Kai to lower the Earth's defenses, making it easier for Shinnok, a former Elder God, to invade Earthrealm. Fortunately, he was stopped by Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, who trapped him inside an amulet where he was kept a prisoner for 25 years but was released by his followers. After his release, he tried to gain the power of the Jinsei, which is the life force of Earth, but was stopped by Cassie Cage, the daughter of Johnny and Sonya. After Shinnok was defeated and Earth safe once again, I returned to the Lin Kuei Temple. As the years went by and the world began to change, my people began to die out with only me left standing. I asked Raiden to allow me to stay here in the Jinsei and wait for a person worthy of my teachings, and that is you, young Naruto. You will be my legacy to this world. Kuei looked over to see Naruto shed silent tears. What is wrong, my student? Asked Kuei, not sure why Naruto would start crying at his words. It's just that you're the first person to actually acknowledge me, stuttered Naruto, wiping away his tears of joy. Smiling at his student, Kuei ruffles his hair. When I am done teaching you, Naruto, everyone will know exactly who they have wronged. Smiling at his teacher, Naruto starts bouncing on the balls of his feet. So sensei, what are we going to do first? Asked Naruto, barely containing his excitement. First you are going to write a letter to your family and I will place it in your bedroom for them to find, and after, well, let's just say you're going to be rather busy for the next 10 years. Ha ha ha, laughed Kuei, scaring Naruto about what plans his sensei had for him. Sitting in front of a piece of paper and pen in hand, Naruto wasn't sure what to say in the letter, but then thought of all the things that they have said to him over the years. I wish you weren't my brother. You're such a disappointment. Why can't you be more like your sister? Filled with a newfound rage, Naruto began to write his letter to his ex-family. Done already, I see. Well, pass it here and I will deliver it, said Kuei. Passing the letter to his teacher, Naruto had a thought pop in his head. Sensei, will I be learning how to use chakra at all during my training? Asked Naruto, making Kuei think for a moment. I will gather material for you to learn from later during your training, since I want you totally focused on my training, since he did not know of the powers people had in this era. Okay, sensei, when the time comes I would like some stuff on elements and sealing. Would be great, and maybe some scrolls on genjutsu, listed Naruto, making Kuei nod before letting himself fall backwards and disappear into the ice floor, leaving a starry-eyed Naruto behind. I am so leaning that, muttered Naruto in awe, outside the Namikaze house. It's been a while since I have done that, said Kuei, breathing slightly heavier than normal. Regaining his Kuei looks around for the best place to break in from, but sees weird black marking along most of the walls and window that for some reason sent off his warning senses. Looking around the house once more, Kuei sees one small window that has no markings on and decides that would be his entry point. Climbing to the window with relative ease even at his age, Kuei silently opens the window to the room and finds himself inside a small plain bedroom with white walls and bed. Must be Naruto's room. Glad he found the room so easily. Kuei places the letter on the bed so it is easy to see and was about to leave again when he heard people talking on the overside of the door. Outside Naruto's room. Are you sure this will work? Minato-kun asks a beautiful redhead with worry in her voice, looking at the blonde Hokage. Trust me Kushina-chan, this seal will work fine. Once I place it on Naruto all his chakra will be absorbed into it, leaving only the minimum to live. Then we place the seal on Mito and give it to her, said Minato, making Kushina frown. But this seems wrong. I know I said I didn't want my baby to have to fight for a living, but to steal his chakra is too much, said Kushina, making Minato sigh in annoyance. It is for the good of Konoha, said Minato, making Kushina's eyes glaze over and nod in agreement. See, you agree, but I want to make sure the seal key works properly first, so I'll leave it for later. Walking away from the door, Minato headed towards his office, leaving Kushina to stand there with glazed eyes and a single tear rolling down her face. With Kuei, well shit just hit the fan, better get back to Naruto, but I mustn't tell him about this yet, it could get him killed, said Kuei before falling backwards and disappearing into the now frozen floor. At the Jinsei appearing from the frozen floor, Kuei looks to see Naruto asleep atop of a small rock, staring at his student's sleeping form, but remembers there is still things to do before they can start his training. Naruto, wake up, ordered Kuei. Hearing his teacher's voice, Naruto opens his eyelids. Morning sensei, are we going to train now? Asks a sleepy but excited Naruto, gaining a serious look on his face. Kuei folds his arms over his chest. Naruto, before we begin your training you need to do one more thing, stated Kuei, confusing Naruto about what he would have to do. Sure sensei, I'll do whatever it takes to become stronger, promised Naruto. Very well, before we begin your training you need to become a cryomancer so you can use ice as I do. To do this I will place my blood in you. This should allow you to become a cryomancer. Looking at his sensei with no small amount of worry. Sensei, you said should, what else could happen to me? Asked Naruto, making Kuei sigh. You could freeze from the inside out, stated Kuei, making Naruto go wide-eyed at the risk he was about to take. Thinking over the pros and cons for a few minutes, Naruto had his answer. Let's do this, sensei. Naruto shouted, surprising Kuei with his bravery. Not being one to be told twice, Kuei creates a syringe out of ice and takes his blood and injects it into Naruto. I don't feel any different, maybe I need more. Ahahahahaha. Naruto began to scream as he felt the blood in his veins freeze. He continued to scream until ice started to cover his body, hiding it from view. Having nothing to do but wait and worry, Kuei sits down and meditates, praying for his new student to survive. After an hour of waiting for the ice surrounding Naruto cracked, making his body fall to the floor, but didn't shatter like Kuei had feared it would. Walking over to his unconscious student, Kuei noticed some differences. His once blonde hair had turned white with hints of icy blue, his once tan complexion turned pale. Sleep, for now, my student, because when you wake you are going to go through hell. Opening his eyes, Naruto found himself laying face first on a solid block of ice, but strangely felt no cold or even a chill from it. Groggily getting up from the ice block, Naruto felt a dull pain go through his aching body. Damn, my body feels like I got hit by a train from Snow Country, whined Naruto before looking around the room. Naruto sees his sensei meditating in the corner. Walking over to greet his teacher, Naruto catches his reflection in a wall of ice. What the hell happened to me? Exclaimed Naruto, looking at the unfamiliar face that was his reflection. His once sun-blonde hair had turned a snow white with ice blue highlights, his tan replaced by a pale skin. But the strangest change was his eyes. His once shining blue eyes had changed to a cold ice blue that would make most freeze with just a glimpse at him. I see you have noticed your changes. I must say you look more like a Lin Kuei recruit now, getting a look that demanded answers. Kuei motions for him to sit. The reason for your new appearance is because your body had to change to become a cryomancer. This came with some added bonuses like greater strength and speed, higher pain tolerance and a greater healing factor, and trust me, that last two will help during your training. Bawahaha, said Kuei, ending with a small evil laugh, sending a shiver down Naruto's spine. Now that is out of the way, we can talk about your training. Kuei could see Naruto's eye light up at the mention of training. To start with, you will learn the basics of Dragon Kung Fu until I deem you ready to learn any of its advanced techniques. Whilst learning that, I will teach you how to control ice and how to use it like a weapon. These lessons will continue until I say, then you will move on to the advanced things. By this point Naruto was jumping on the balls of his feet in excitement. Will I get to learn that badass ice teleport? Hope evident in his voice. It is called the Tombstone Teleport, and yes, in time you will learn and hopefully improve it, since it is far too predictable in most combat situations. With those words, a firelight in Naruto's eyes. I promise sensei I will improve it and any other technique I learn, he promised, causing his sensei to smirk. That is quite the promise, Naruto, and one I hope you fulfill. But back to our earlier talk, your training begins today, so prepare yourself because after we start there is no turning back. And with that he walked towards the training ground, leaving his student there to think for a few moments. Finally the start of my new life away from this village and my ex-family. And with that Naruto ran after his teacher to start his training. Namikaze Mansion. Kushina Uzumaki was sitting at home reading a book but felt a sudden pain go through her heart. Ah, why does my heart hurt? Why do I feel like I just lost something important? She muttered to herself, holding her chest in pain. Still holding her chest in pain, Kushina walks into the kitchen and sees Mito eating a sandwich. Hello Mito-chan, said Kushina, still holding her chest. Something Mito noticed. Are you okay, Ka-chan? Seeing that her daughter was worried, she put on a false smile. I am okay Mito-chan, just feeling a bit under the weather. Seeing no reason not to believe her mother, Mito goes back to eating her sandwich. Watching her daughter eat her lunch, Kushina started to think about her family. Minato was normally busy with his duties as Hokage, and if he wasn't he would be teaching Mito or working on his seals. Then there she, Mito, was a loud and energetic girl, reminding her a lot of herself at her age, especially with her red hair. And finally Naruto, the black sheep, one of the family, that being one of the nicer names she had heard Minato calling him. Naruto was a mystery, and saying he was distant would be putting it mildly. Not that she blamed him, for some reason no one seemed to care for him, regrettably not even her. Mito, have you seen your brother? Asked Kushina, making Mito look like she had just been slapped. Why would I know where that waste of space is? Asked Mito, shocking Kushina. Don't talk about your brother like that, yelled Kushina, making Mito look at her like she was crazy. Why not? It's the truth. He is useless and should do everyone a favor and slap. Holding her red cheek, Mito looked up to see her mother look at her in anger, something that scared her. Don't ever say that ever, do you understand? Yelled Kushina, getting a nod from Mito. Kushina bends down and wipes away her daughter's tears. Now we are both going to Naruto's room to see him, and you are going to say sorry, understand? Getting a nod, the two head upstairs and stand outside Naruto's room. Ka-chan, I can't remember ever going into Naruto's room before, said Mito, making Kushina think about the last time she went to kiss Naruto goodnight or read him a bedtime story, and she couldn't remember because she had never done it. Knocking at the door a couple of times and getting no response, the two silently opened the door and frozen at what they saw. Naruto's bedroom was as plain as a prison cell, a single bed, a small desk in the corner, and gray walls without a single poster, hell, not even a drawing. Looking around the room for something to tell them where Naruto had gone, Kushina sees a small slip of paper sitting on the bed, feeling her heart beat quick, and Kushina walks over to the note and starts to read. Dear ex-family, instead of writing about all of the horrible things I have had to go through, like the beating from the villagers and the neglect from you, I choose to only write 3 words to you. Goodbye forever. Finished reading the note, Kushina drops the note and breaks down sobbing on her knees, so followed by Mito, who picks up the fallen note, and so joins her mother crying on the floor. This is my fault, I wanted him to go, cried Mito as she held the note to her chest. No Mito-chan, don't blame yourself, blame me, Minato in this village, wept Kushina. Staying in Naruto's room for hours crying over the loss of Naruto, the two redheads heard the front door close. Kushina-chan, Mito-chan, I am home, called Minato from downstairs. Hearing their father's voice, the two rush downstairs and hug the life out of him, surprising him. Calm down you two and tell me what's the matter, said Minato, trying to comfort the two. It's Naruto, he's gone, cried Kushina, tightening her hold on Minato, making him wince. I am sure he will be back soon from wherever he is, said Minato, who was panicking on the inside. Shit, did the little runt die in the forest for the first time in his life? Minato wished Naruto wouldn't be dead. No, he ran away, he left a note, said Kushina, passing the note to Minato, who read it quickly, his anger rising with each word he read. Shit, this ruins my plan for the seal, muttered Minato, was not expecting Kushina or Mito to hear it. Unfortunately for him, he forgot that Kushina being an ex-Jinchuriku and Mito being the current one, their senses are more advanced than normal humans, so they heard his whisper like it was a shout. Controlling their anger at Minato, the two redheads release Minato from the hug and watch as emotions flash across his face from anger to annoyance. Kushina, the ink on this note looks a day old at best. I need to gather the Anbu to go and track him down, and with that Minato was gone in a yellow flash, leaving two angry redheads. Ka-chan, I get the feeling that two-san hates Naruto ni, said Mito with a confused look on her face, not understanding how her two-san could hate her brother. So do I, Mito, and I plan to find out why, said Kushina as she walked towards Minato's study, followed closely by Mito. Reaching Minato's office, Kushina notices the alarm seals on the door. Mito, run and get me a brush, some ink and paper. Running to get the supplies, Mito returns shortly after holding everything Kushina asked for. Quickly rewriting the seals on the door to the study, Kushina followed by Mito start walking in and towards the desk, but stops in the middle of the room as a sudden sharp pain appears at the back of both their neck. Ignoring the pain, Kushina and Mito keep walking over to Minato's desk and sees a folder named Project Chakra. Opening the folder, Kushina reads details of the project. Project Chakra, created by Minato Namikaze and Danzo Shimura and assisted by Orochimaru. This project was created for the purpose of creating the ultimate weapons for Konoha. Entry 1. I have had Orochimaru experiment on the use of bloodlines for the weapons. So far only one has survived and has gained the ability of Mokuton, which is a step in the right direction. Hopefully soon Konoha will have an army of bloodline users at its beck and call. Entry 5. We have concluded that bloodlines, though powerful, are very hard to integrate into the human body as it is just rejected, resulting in the human death. So instead we have needed to use something far more powerful and easier to integrate with humans. The answer is simple: Jinchuriki. Entry 14. By orders of Danzo, I have rescued Kushina from the Kumo ninja, resulting in her falling for me, increasing the plans for the Jinchuriku army. Entry 20. I have been stealing the chakra from the Jinchuriki for months now to test on to see the best ways to use it. Orochimaru has come up with several possibilities so far, but nothing major at the moment. Entry 28. I have impregnated the Jinchuriki. This could be the breakthrough we have been waiting for. Whilst giving birth, the seal will weaken, giving us the chance to reseal the beast inside the child. From there we can train it to become Konoha's weapon. Entry 29. It was all going so well, but my plans have failed. The Jinchuriki had twins, something I didn't foresee coming. This resulted in both children getting bits of the Kyuubi's chakra in them. Normally this would be a plus to have two children with tailed beast chakra, but it isn't. The chakra that should have gone to one was split, weakening or weapon. This won't do. Entry 44. I have designed a seal that should take all of the beast's chakra and absorb it. Now all I need to do is wait for the right moment to use it. For the second time that day, Kushina cried in sorrow. Seeing her mother start crying once again, Mito picks the dropped folder and reads it herself. Not a minute later joins her mother crying in pain, and of them notice the seal on the back of the folder start to glow. Calming herself down, Kushina looks at her crying daughter. Mito-chan, go and pack your things, we aren't staying here with that monster a second longer. Getting a nod from Mito, the two wiped their eyes and ran to their rooms to pack. Quickly packing their things, Kushina and Mito walk out of the Namikaze door, never to return. With Minato 10 minutes earlier sitting in the Hokage office was Minato, who had just sent off a squad of Anbu to track down his wayward son. I know you're there, you can come out, sensei, said Minato, smiling slightly as he saw his sensei step out of the shadows. I see your time as Hokage hasn't dulled your senses like my old rival Hiruzen, praised Danzo with a slight smirk, looking at his best student. Taking a seat across from Minato, Danzo gained a serious look. Is it true that your son has left the village? Don't call that thing my son. But yes, it is true, he has run away, but I have sent a squad of Anbu to retrieve him, answered Minato, causing Danzo to sigh in annoyance and frustration. I will never understand your hate for your son, but never mind that, I will send out 2 squads of Root Anbu to help with the search. Have you finished the seal? Asked Danzo, getting a nod from Minato. Good, if he is found by my Root Anbu, then I will have him taken to one of the underground bases for safekeeping until we can proceed with the plan. Agreed, send me a message. We shit, the alarm on Project Chakra just went off. I have to go, disappearing in a yellow flash, leaving a worried Danzo. Namikaze Manor, appearing in outside his home. Minato sprints inside his office only to see it empty, with the Project Chakra folder on the ground and covered with tear stains. In this situation, Minato could only say one thing. Shit. With Kushina and Mito. Ka-chan, where are we going to go now? Asked Mito. Since I am still a registered kunoichi, we can't leave the village, so we will be staying with my friend Makoto. Yay. I haven't seen Auntie Miko in ages, exclaimed Mito, excited she could see her favorite auntie after so long. Walking down the dark streets of Konoha, drawing weird looks from passers-by who wondered why the Hokage's wife and child would be walking this late at night with suitcases. Ignoring the looks they were getting, the 2 redheads made it to the Uchiha compound and knocked on the clan head's home. As the door opened, Kushina and Mito smiled, seeing Sayuri standing there. Hey Sayuri-chan, remember me? Said Kushina, confusing Sayuri. Hey, Ka-chan, there are 2 tomato heads at the door, yelled Sayuri, not seeing the 2 redheads' eyes twitch in annoyance at being called a tomato. Hearing her daughter shout, Makoto walked to the door to greet her longtime friend. Hey Kushina, what are you doing here at this time? Did you get into a fight with Minato? Asked Makoto. Can we put these 2 to bed, then I will explain. Getting a nod, the 2 kunoichis took the girls into Sayuri's room to sleep. Walking back into the sitting room, Makoto looks at Kushina with a serious look. Okay Kushina, what happened? With that, Kushina started to explain what had happened and what she had discovered. By the end of the story, Makoto was livid. That bastard, yelled Makoto. So is it okay to stay here for a bit, just until I buy an apartment for me and Mito? Of course, it's okay for you to stay, and you can forget an apartment, you can have one of the houses here in the compound. Thank you, but I don't think Fugaku will like that very much, said Kushina, causing Makoto to laugh. Don't worry about him, he won't do a thing, trust me. Seeing the sweet smile on Makoto's face, Kushina just nodded. Good, now it's time for you to get some sleep, you have had a long and stressful day. Agree with her friend. The two headed off to sleep. As Kushina tried to fall asleep, she couldn't take her mind off of Naruto and how badly she had failed him. I am sorry, Naruto, wherever you are, I hope you're happy, whispered Kushina before falling to sleep. It was an early morning in the village of Konoha, but down deep below a young Lin Kuei student was practicing with his sensei. Very good, Naruto, you have almost mastered the dragon style, all you need is more experience using it, praised Kuei, looking at his now 11-year-old apprentice. It's all thanks to you, sensei, replied Naruto with a bow. The past 5 years of training had been great for Naruto. He had changed a lot over the years. He had grown to a nice 5 feet 6. His hair was still the same color, but it had grown into a shaggy look with some bangs covering his eyes, Ichigo Dangai. And his face had become more angular with the loss of his baby fat. Basically, he looked like a young Minato but with blue and white hair, paler skin. Since his old clothes not longer fit, Naruto now wore a pair of black steel-toed combat boots with black combat trousers with an ice blue belt with the Lin Kuei symbol on it. For his upper body he wore a tight sleeveless black shirt showing off his defined muscle, over this an ice blue short-sleeved trench coat, and as tradition he wore the Lin Kuei mask. True, but without your natural skill and your determination it would have taken much longer to teach you, but enough of that, let you see your progress in your ice manipulation, show me your weapons of choice. Following his sensei's command, Naruto holds his hands out and forms 2 kamas made of pure ice with jagged edges. After forming the kamas, he starts going through his kata for them, called the dragon's talons. Finishing his kata, he releases his weapons, making them shatter on the ground. Good, very good, now show me your other weapon, ordered Kaui. Bowing to his sensei, Naruto holds his hands together and forms a Muramasa katana that was a bit longer than normal, going through his kata for his sword called the dragon's fang. Finishing his kata, Naruto drops the weapon, shattering it, and turns to bow at his now clapping sensei. Very impressive. To learn 2 of the Lin Kuei's most difficult weapon styles is no easy feat, yet you, my student, have done it, and I couldn't be prouder, said Kuei with pride evident in his voice. Thank you, sensei. Will that be all for today? Yes, I know about you progress in the Lin Kuei ice style moves, but before I can teach you further you must do something. Give me your order, sensei, and I swear on my honor it will be done. Don't be too hasty, me student, you should hear the mission before accepting. But since you are so eager, your mission is to kill every bandit at a small camp located east of here. I believe it is near a small country called the Land of Waves, finished Kuei, looking at the shocked face of his student. But sensei, I've never killed before, said Naruto, looking to the ground. I don't think I can kill in cold blood, he muttered, sounding sad that he would disappoint his teacher. Looking at his student, Kuei couldn't help but think this is what his father must have had to do when training him and his brother. Naruto, you are ready for this, I know you are. I agree, killing in cold blood is wrong, but killing to protect those weaker than you is something that I believe in, and I hope you learn too as well, said Kuei, looking as Naruto kept his head down, think on his words. Naruto thought of his sensei's words over and over again in his head. No one ever looked out for me, so maybe if I look out for those weaker than me I can stop people having to go through the same things I did. With that thought in mind, Naruto looked up to his sensei with fire in his eyes. If I can help people like you helped me, then I will, even if I have to kill, exclaimed Naruto with determination. Good, go and gather all that you think you require, then we shall both go so I can watch you fight, said Kuei, making Naruto run of and gather his supplies. I hope I am making the right choice, but with the world like it is, then the kids in school must be doing something similar, Kuei said to himself, not knowing how wrong he was. Uchiha Compound, Mito, you are going to be late to the academy if you don't get up, shouted Kushina. The past 5 years have been kind to Kushina. She still looked like she was in her 20s even if she was nearly 40. Coming, Ka-chan, shouted Mito from upstairs. Mito had grown to become a clone of her mother in the past 5 years, but still had some of her father's features, like her blue eyes and some blonde highlights in her long red hair. Shouting goodbye to her mother, Mito runs towards the compound gates only to see Sayuri standing there with an annoyed look on her face. And what took you so long? Asked Sayuri with a you better have a good explanation look, causing Mito to sweat a little at her friend's stare. You see, on the walk here I saw this old lady who had dropped her shopping, and being the good citizen I decided to help her, but it turns out she was an enemy ninja and she took my wallet, so I had to track her down and fight for it, which took a while, lied Mito, not noticing the tick mark on Sayuri's head get bigger and bigger with each passing second. That's bullshit, exclaimed Sayuri. Kami, you need to stop talking to Kakashi-san, you're starting to act like him. Next thing you know you'll be reading those orange books, said Sayuri with a small smirk at seeing Mito's face go pale at the very thought. That will never happen, not now, not ever. Denied Mito. Kami knows what her mother would do to her if she started reading those books. Anyway, we are going to be late if we don't hurry up, said Sayuri, who started walking away, leaving Mito behind. Hey, wait up! Shouted Mito as she ran after her best friend. Academy arriving with a minute to spare, Mito and Sayuri take their seats next to Hinata. Morning. Hinata-chan greeted Mito with a smile whilst Sayuri gave a small nod. Morning, Mito-chan. Sayuri-chan, are you both ready to practice the henge jutsu today? Asked Hinata. You bet I am. I finally have it down to 2 hand seals, boasted Mito with a grin on her face, only for it to falter when she saw the 2 deadpan looks her friends were giving her. It has taken you this long to get that far. Even Shikamaru can do it with 1 hand seal, and he is the laziest bastard I know, said Sayuri, making Mito depressed. It's not my fault, I have massive chakra reserves and very little control, muttered Mito, making her friends snicker at her. Still depressed about her lack of progress, Mito takes her seat just as their sensei Iruka walks in. Good morning, class. Today we will be going over our henge jutsu, so form a line and get ready to perform it. As the class lined up, Mito slowly walked down the stairs before taking her place in the line. Why do I have to do this? I would rather be doing something cool, thought Mito. With Naruto and Kuei above in the trees overlooking the bandit camp, Kuei looks over to his nerves student. Naruto, from now on this is your mission, so make your plan, said Kuei, making Naruto close his eyes and open his senses. There are 26 bandits, 14 are asleep and 1 ninja. But the level of chakra I am sensing is barely over Chunin. 4 civilian women and a child that I sense are afraid but unharmed, said Naruto, holding in his anger at mentioning the civilians. Your sensing skills have improved. Now that you have this information, use it to your advantage and eliminate the threats, said Kuei, getting a nod from Naruto as he jumped from the tree and into the camp. Landing behind one of the larger tents, Naruto sneaks inside to find 2 passed out bandits. Stealing his nerves, Naruto creates 2 kunai out of ice and slits their throats, killing them silently. Fighting the urge to puke, Naruto heads out of the tent and hides in the shadows of another tent and repeats the process until only the bandits that are awake and the ninja is left. Leaving the shadows of the tents, Naruto sneaks behind the guards of the prisoners and jams a kunai each into their temples, killing them instantly. Walking over to the terrified prisoners, Naruto puts a finger over his mask face where his mouth would be telling them to be silent. Shush, I am here to help. I am going to untie you, but I need you to stay here until I have finished clearing out the rest of the bandits, okay? Seeing them nod, Naruto creates a kunai and cuts the ropes that bound them. Okay, stay silent, I'll be back. About to walk out, Naruto felt a small tug on his shirt and sees the only child of the group holding it. Yes? Asked Naruto. Can you please save my Ka-chan? The man with a headband took her, said the small boy with tears in his eyes. Nodding his head, Naruto headed straight towards the biggest tent in the camp, most likely belonging to the only ninja of the group. Reaching the tent in record time whilst taking care of the renaming bandits, Naruto lifted a corner of it and snuck inside, but what he saw made him see red with rage. The unknown ninja was ripping the clothes off of the poor women whilst smiling. Creating his ice katana, Naruto walks out into the open and glares at the man. Stop, you animal, you won't harm her any longer, said Naruto, making the man turn around to look at him. Release the women at the same time. Who are you, Gaki, and what are you doing here? Demanded the man with a sneer. I am here to save the captives. As for who I am, that's simple, I am your executioner, said Naruto as he charged with his ice katana. Smirking at Naruto, the man brought out a kunai and blocked the strike. Haha, that a good one, Gaki, my executioner. Well, you better know my name then. It's Kijimuta Toshi X Chunin of Kiri, said the now named Toshi, sending a kick to Naruto's chest, who dodged it easily. Your katana is made of ice. You're one of those bloodline freaks that the Mizukage is trying to kill. Maybe if I deliver your corpse he will let me return. Throwing his kunai at Naruto, Toshi began making hand seals, water chains, jutsu, shout Toshi, sending multiple chains of water at Naruto, not seeing the smirk on his opponent's face due to the mask he wore. I am the worst opponent you could have picked, and this is why, Ice Ball, yelled Naruto, sending a ball of ice towards Toshi, who didn't bother dodging and used his chains to stop it from hitting him, but went wide-eyed as the ball froze his chains and shattering them, carried on hitting his chest, freezing him instantly. Seeing his enemy frozen but alive, Naruto walked over to the ice statue and sliced it in 2, making both parts shatter. He deserved worse, said Naruto, looking over to the ex-captive who was covering herself with her hands. Naruto sees the fear in her eyes and chooses to keep his distance, trying to make her more comfortable. Miss, you're safe now. Your son is waiting for you with the other villagers, said Naruto. With those words, Naruto saw the fear in her eyes be replaced by relief. Thank Kami, Inari is safe. What about the rest, are they all okay? Asked the women. They are fine, a bit shaken up but fine. If it is okay with you I will escort you to them and be on my way, said Naruto. Seeing the women nod, walks over to the women and passes her the sheet from the bed, allowing her to cover her body. Thank you for saving us. My name is Tsunami, what can I call you? Asked the now named Tsunami. Naruto, my name is Naruto. Walking in silence to the other ex-prisoners, Tsunami was suddenly pounced on by a crying Inari. Ka-chan, you're back, you're really back. Please don't leave again, cried Inari as he clung to Tsunami, who smiled at her son and began calming him down. Not seeing a reason for him to stay, Naruto began his walk towards the camp gate but was stopped by the sounds of shouts and footsteps. Naruto, wait! Shouted Tsunami as she and the others ran towards him. Yes. Axa confused Naruto to sure what else they wanted from him. Thank for saving us. How can we repay you? Asked Tsunami. I don't want anything, said Naruto as he began walking away again, leaving a shocked group expecting him to want something for saving them. Kuei's location. Arriving at the meeting point, Naruto sees his sensei sitting on a rock waiting for him. I see you have finished quite quickly. Well done. From now on your training becomes harsher. Are you ready? Asked Kuei. Yes, sensei, said Naruto with a bow. Good, from now we won't return to the Jinsei chamber. I want you to get used to this world, so we shall travel and train. I have already prepared everything for your training, so our first stop will be Snow Country for you to learn more advanced ice manipulation and maybe create some new techniques. Nodding to his sensei, the two traveled back towards the boat they used to get to Wave instead of for Snow Country. High in the mountains of Snow Country was a tombstone with a statue made of solid ice shaped like the Lin Kuei symbol. Sitting in front of the tombstone was Naruto, who had changed from a young boy to a warrior. Standing at an impressive 5 feet 11, Naruto had lost what remained of his baby fat, leaving him with a chiseled and handsome face. The only imperfection he had was a thin scar that went from the top of his eyebrow to the top of his cheek. Over the years, his clothes hadn't changed much. He still wore black combat and trousers along with a tight black shirt. Over this, he wore his ice blue trench coat but with an added hood and the sleeves ripped off. To complete his outfit he wore the traditional Lin Kuei mask. It has been a year since you died, master. I know you said it was because you were away from the Jinsei, but I can't help but think your death is my fault. If I hadn't found you, then you would still be alive, muttered Naruto, looking at the words that were chiseled into the stone. Here lies Kuei Liang, master of the Lin Kuei teacher. Father figure, I wish you could be here to see me re-establish the Lin Kuei, but I can take solace in knowing you're watching over me. Standing up and giving a quick bow, Naruto started walking away from the grave and heading down the mountain and towards the small village at the bottom named Tsukoshi Yuki, Little Snow. As Naruto got closer to the small town, he pulled up his hood, hiding his face from view, no wanting to be recognized by anyone that might be looking for him. Walking through the village and towards the gate, Naruto drew curious looks from the people of the town, since it was rare anyone to travel to the small village. Ignoring the looks he was getting, Naruto kept a normal pace and continued towards the village gates, but when he arrived he was greeted by 30 samurais. Sub-Zero-sama, please come back to the capital, the daimyo would like to see you, said samurai in charge of the mission. Ignoring the samurai, Naruto keeps on walking out the gate but suddenly had to dodge a wave of chakra. Turning to where the wave came from, Naruto sees all of the samurai holding their swords. I am sorry, Sub-Zero-sama, but the daimyo has ordered us to bring you in, and that is what we shall do, shouted the leader of the samurai as he and the others charged at the annoyed Naruto. Not wanting to waste his time fighting them, Naruto folds his arms and falls backward, disappearing into the ice. Damn it, he got away again. Who is going to tell Koyuki Hime that we didn't catch him? Cause I told her last time, said the now scared samurai leader, causing everyone to point towards the newest samurai of the group. He can do it, shouted the group, causing the villagers watching to sweat drop at seeing a powerful samurai crying in fear at what their daimyo will do to him. With Naruto having escaped his pursuers, Naruto headed towards the coast, to take his ship towards the land of waves to restock, and then the land of water where he would track down his target. Over the last year, Naruto had made a name for himself across the element nations by becoming a bounty hunter under the name Sub-Zero in honor of his master. But with reputation comes notoriety, as after he defeated an A-rank missing nin, he was placed in the bingo books as an A-rank ronin, a ninja without an affiliation to a hidden village. Fortunately for Naruto, they had next to no information about him other than his cover name and a picture of him with his hood up. Other than bounty hunting, Naruto did the occasional mission if the pay was good enough. One of his best clients was Iwa, since it was low on shinobi for the last Great War, and another was Kiri. With their low numbers after the Civil War, they offered many jobs to him, something he was thankful for. That and he found Kurasuchi and Mei cute didn't hurt. Reaching the coast, Naruto climbs aboard his small sailing boat and heads towards Wave for the first time in 5 years. Konoha, same time in the past 5 years. Konoha had changed with many things happening, but one of the most devastating was the Uchiha massacre. Nearly every Uchiha apart from the children, a few civilians and Makoto had been killed by Emiko Uchiha, daughter of Makoto and Anbu captain, now S-rank missing nin. Team 7, which consisted of Kakashi Hatake, Mito Uzumaki, Sayuri Uchiha and Kiba Inuzuka, were ready to blow a gasket from the amount of D-rank missions they had to do, namely catching the devil cat Tori. Over the last 5 years, Mito had grown from a young girl to young woman that looked and acted identically to her mother: long red hair, porcelain white skin and a beautiful face and figure that made me drool. Sayuri had become a carbon copy of her mother Makoto, something that men in Konoha were grateful for. She had long blue hair, soft white skin and a beautiful face and body. Kiba looked like a typical Inuzuka: wild spiky brown hair, red fangs on both cheeks and a coat with fur around the collar. Right now Team 7 stood in front of Minato Namikaze, the Yondaime Hokage and ex-husband to Kushina Uzumaki. Mission accomplished, sensei, said Kakashi was not looking up from his book, much to Minato's annoyance. Very well, would you like another mission? We have many D-rank ones to complete, asked Minato. Seeing his student ready to shout, Kakashi spoke first. Actually, sensei, I think they are ready for a C-rank mission, said Kakashi using his patented eye smile. Very well, Kakashi. Send in Tazuna, ordered Minato, and without a second delay an Anbu walked in with an old man wearing a straw hat and drink from a jug. I am the super bridge builder Tazuna and I wanted super protection. How are these kids going to protect me? The redhead one looks like a tomato. The gloomy girl looks like Shell cut herself more than the enemy, and that kid has a dog. What's that gonna do? Piss on the bandits. At the end of Tazuna's rant, the 3 genins had to be held back from beating the man black and blue by Kakashi and the Anbu. Don't worry, sir, I am an experienced jonin. I can handle a couple of bandits, said Kakashi, still holding Mito and Sayuri back from beating the old man. After discussing the time they would meet at the gate, Team 7 went to their homes to prepare for the mission. Uzumaki home. Getting to her home, Mito runs into the kitchen to see her mother wearing her jonin uniform and her hair in a ponytail. Ka-chan, I finally got a C-rank mission. No, I can help you look for Ni-chan, exclaimed Mito happily as she hugged her mother. Over the past 11 years, Kushina had been looking for signs of Naruto on every mission she took. She had even asked Jiraiya to help her look, but with no success. A day didn't go by when Kushina didn't cry at the loss of her son, not that she had the right to call him that. That's great, Mito-chan. What's the mission? Asked Kushina, hoping it was nothing too dangerous for her daughter. Just guarding some drunk bridge builder that lives in Wave. I wanted to guard a prince, but no, instead I get an old drunk, exclaimed Mito, making Kushina chuckle at her daughter. After talking to her mother a bit longer, Mito packs her equipment and heads out the door, not seeing the worried look that was on Kushina's face. Konoha gate so emo, when is you teacher and that tomato girl getting here? Asked Tazuna, either not noticing or plain not caring at the glare Sayuri was giving him. Kakashi-sensei is normally late and I wouldn't be surprised if Mito stopped off for ramen on the way here, said Sayuri, not sensing the person behind her. That hurts, you know, Sayuri-chan. Do you think that badly of your sensei? Asked Kakashi, making Sayuri jump in fright. Glaring at her laughing sensei and teammate, Sayuri tried to get her breathing back under control. 5 minutes later, Mito came running along with a smile on her face but dropped it when she saw the pissed off look on her teammates' faces. Sorry, I am late. My Ka-chan had to talk to me about something important, said Mito, making her teammates facepalm and Kakashi to chuckle. Mito-chan, you still have noodles round your mouth, said Kakashi, causing Mito's face to match her hair in embarrassment. Quickly wiping the noodles from her face, Mito gets into formation around Tazuna and they begin their journey to Wave. Walking down the dirt path towards Wave, Kiba got bored of the silence and decided to ask Tazuna some questions. Hey, Tazuna-san, doesn't Wave have its own ninja? Asked Kiba, getting Tazuna to shake his head as no. Nope, we have a few samurai, but that's it. Because of that we have lots of trouble with bandits, people being taken or just killed because they felt like it. I almost lost my daughter 5 years ago because of the bandit problem, answered Tazuna, still terrified of that fact he could have lost his daughter. Tazuna-san, you said almost. How did your daughter escape? Asked no curious Sayuri, with Mito, Kiba, Kakashi, who was secretly listening by pretending to read his book. I don't know all the details, but Tsunami, my daughter and her son Inari along with some other women were taken to a large bandit camp, but not even an hour after they were taken the group walked back into the village speaking about a boy, answered Tazuna, making them all curious as to who this boy was. So, old man, who was the boy your daughter was talking about? Asked Mito, making a tick mark form on his forehead. She said she never got his name, but she said he had white and blue hair with white pale skin with a chiseled face and, as she put it, the bluest eyes that you could look into forever, answered Tazuna, a little annoyed at how his daughter described the boy. He and the 2 other males missed the small tinge of pink on Sayuri and Mito's faces. As they continued to walk they passed to puddles of water, something that Kakashi noticed should NT be there, but a second too late as men jumped out of them with chains that tangled Kakashi, shredding him to bits, terrifying the genin. Tazuna. One down, said one of the ninjas. Four left to go, said the other as they both charged the scared genin. Snapping out of her fear, Mito pulls out a kunai and blocks the metal claw that was aimed for her head, but never saw the second coming and shut her eyes. But here's a familiar voice. Fireball jutsu, shouted Sayuri, sending a massive ball of fire towards the ninja, making them curse as they were forced to dodge. Better than I thought you would be, but you are no match for us, shouted the two together as they threw their chains at Tazuna, but was stopped when three kunai lodged the chain into a tree. No more chains for you bastards, let's get Akamaru. Fang passing Fang, yelled Kiba, heading straight towards the two nin, forcing them to dodge them all, making them forget about the other two until they heard something familiar. Fireball jutsu, shouted Sayuri, taking them by surprise and hitting them dead on, resulting in screams of pain from the two as their flesh burned, killing them. All four watched as the two ninjas were burned alive in the fiery inferno, not able to take their eyes away until the smell hit their noses, making them puke on the spot. Still puking their guts up, Kakashi walks out from behind a tree, shocking them all. Sensei, you're still alive, exclaimed Mito, Kiba, and Sayuri. Yep, and I am very proud of how you three performed today, said Kakashi, pleased with the way that his team fought against the two. But Sensei, I killed someone, muttered Sayuri with tears in her eyes. And I have killed hundreds. It is a ninja's job to kill, stated Kakashi, trying to make her see why she had to do it. Nodding her head to her sensei, Sayuri walks away from her team to think about what had happened, leaving Kakashi to ask Tazuna some questions. So Tazuna, what is really happening at Wave? Asked Kakashi, making Tazuna lower his head and tell them what is going on. After hearing Tazuna's sob story about Nami no Kunai, Team 7 decided to continue on with the mission to Wave. Walking down the road in silence, Mito decided to end the silence. So Tazuna, your daughter said a boy younger than us saved her. Did she say how? Asked Mito, wanting to know how a boy younger than her could kill so many bandits. Well, she never went into detail, not that I can blame her. All she said was that he shattered the one that tried to harm her, answered Tazuna, confusing them and himself as to how he shattered a man. Perhaps it's a new bloodline or even a personal jutsu, suggested Kakashi, thinking over the possible solutions, since in his time as a shinobi he had never heard of anyone being able to shatter someone before. As they continued their journey, they eventually reached the shore, where they looked for a boat to take them across the sea. After several people denying passage across the water, they finally found an old man willing to take them to Nami no Kunai. Unfortunately, they would be stuck on the small boat for hours. Mito, and, if they were honest, the other two, couldn't take much more of it. This boat is driving me crazy, Mito finally yelled, getting nods of agreement from her teammates. Mito, stop yelling. Kakashi looked up from his orange book. We need to stay quiet, and your yelling can probably be heard a mile away, besides he will probably reach land soon. Kakashi was right, for out of the mist appeared a structure of stone, stretching most of the water. Is that the bridge? Asked Kiba, never seeing a bridge that large. Yep, Tazuna replied, staring at his bridge with pride. We are almost there, said Tazuna, making the three genin silently thank Kami since they were sick of being on the boat. The remainder of the trip was spent in silence. Eventually, though, they reached the shore, where the man with the boat wished them well and left back across the water. Once again they had a fairly uneventful trip through the forest until suddenly Kakashi heard an odd whistling sound. Duck! Yelled Kakashi, pushing Tazuna to the ground, whilst a ridiculously large sword went over their heads and embedded itself into a tree. What the hell was that? Yelled Mito from her position on the floor. She saw the large sword stuck in a tree above their heads. Oh. The Kubikiribushu, Kakashi said, looking at the sword embedded in the tree. That means Momochi Zabuza, at your service, a man said, jumping onto the sword embedded in the tree before bowing sarcastically. He was pale, with short spiky black hair, and the lower half of his face was covered with bandages. He also wore a Kiri Hite 8 sideways on his head, but instead of the normal symbol, his was scratched through, marking him as a nuke nin. Momochi Zabuza, demon of the hidden mist, Kakashi said. I guessed so. Given the demon brothers earlier, you're here for Tazuna, aren't you? Good guess. Sharingan no Kakashi, Zabuza replied. So, you going to hand him over the easy way? Guys, get back, Kakashi said. This guy's on a whole new level compared to the rest. Against him, even I'll admit it'll be a little tough, without this. After saying that, he pulled up his Hite 8, revealing his other eye, but this one was red with a black 3-tome design. Using your Sharingan already, I am honored. Ka-san said that Sensei had the Sharingan, thought Sayuri, but this is the first time I have ever seen him use it. Surround and protect Tazuna, said Kakashi to his team. Hurry up. I want to kill the old man and get this over with, Zabuza said, but copycat, it seems I'll have to kill you first, nay? Zabuza jumped over onto the water near them, standing on it. Sweden. Kirigakure no jutsu, Zabuza whispered, disappearing in a rapidly thickening mist growing from the water. Damn. How'd he know? Kakashi said, the Sharingan can't see through this mist. 8 killing points, said Zabuza from somewhere in the mist: liver, lungs, kidney, brain, spine, clavicle vein, larynx, and heart. Which one should I choose? Ha! It's gonna take more than that to scare us, yelled Kiba. Oh, the Gaki has a pair. Let's see what I can do about that. Suddenly, the air was filled with killing intent, making Kiba and the others freeze in fear. What is this? Thought Kiba as he shook in fear. Beside him, Sayuri was nearly as affected. This is the killing intent of a Jonin, she, though, sensing the ever-growing ki in the air. This is insane. I can't take this. I'd rather die now. Nearly against her will, her hand began raising a kunai to her neck. Beside her, Mito, who seemed relatively unaffected by the amount of ki the two Jonin were emitting, saw her. What are you doing? She yelled, shoving Sayuri's arm down. You're trying to kill yourself. I knew you were emo. Thanks, said Sayuri, eyeing her arm suspiciously. I don't know what I was doing. Don't worry, Sayuri, Kakashi said. I won't let my comrades die. Oh? Zabuza said from the mist. Well, see about that. Suddenly, he appeared out of the mist, running towards Team 7's students, who were grouped around Tizuna, with Kiba frozen in fear and Sayuri still slightly trying to fight off her own arm. Mito was left to try to defend them. She defensively grabbed a kunai, standing in front of Tizuna, and growled at Zabuza. Zabuza never made it, though. Instead, midway through, he was tackled by Kakashi. Nice try, said Kakashi, but it'll take more than that to threaten my students in charge. Zabuza sprang up, pushing Kakashi off him. They both stood in front of each other, neither so much as twitching. Suddenly, Zabuza rushed towards Kakashi, but instead of directly attacking, jumped over him in a flip, bringing the sword down on him in midair. To his surprise, Kakashi was unable to retaliate in time, resulting in Zabuza slicing him across the head. However, instead of blood rushing out, Kakashi simply dissolved into water. Mizu Bunshin. Zabuza thought, watching Kakashi dissolve into a puddle, but there's no way he could have copied my techniques in the mist. Oh, that was certainly impressive, Kakashi, Zabuza said. You had your clone distract me while you were actually hidden in the mist around me, observing. Oh, so you figured it out, have you? Kakashi said, walking towards Zabuza. Too bad. I was going to use a great strategy against you, but obviously, you have everything figured out, don't you? Zabuza, instead of attacking Kakashi, simply ran into the forest. Sensei, I can smell he has several clones spread around to confuse you, but the real one is in front of you, yelled Kiba to Kakashi. Thanks, Kiba, Kakashi said. So, an Inuzuka, eh? The real Zabuza said, walking towards Kakashi. Should have known since he has a dog with him. Well, I guess I can't just clone spam you, can I? Nope, Kakashi answered, giving him an eye smile. Guess not. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. Either way, does it? Zabuza said, because I don't need clones to win this. With that, Zabuza disappeared in a burst of speed, reappearing behind Kakashi, who turned to deflect his sword with a kunai. They locked blades for a half second before Kakashi ducked beneath his, aiming to thrust the kunai into Zabuza's stomach. Instead, Zabuza quickly brought his knee up to connect with Kakashi's head, before flipping back out of range. They both engaged in a standoff, circling each other, Kakashi holding his kunai, Zabuza with his sword. Suddenly, Zabuza again rushed towards Kakashi, who barely deflected the sword again, forcing it to pass millimeters above his head. He was unable, however, to block the sword coming back, resulting in its passing through his body, before once again dissolving into water. Damn it, Zabuza cursed, before listening for the copy ninja to attack. After a few seconds of waiting, he did indeed attack, jumping through the air to try to attack Zabuza from above. Zabuza brought his sword above his body, attempting to slice Kakashi as he came down above him, but Kakashi twisted violently to the side, angling his fall away from Zabuza. Once he reached the ground, he brought his kunai down towards the back of Zabuza's neck, before Zabuza twisted around to deflect Kakashi's hand with the back of his arm. Without waiting, Kakashi brought a kunai up with his other hand, which Zabuza was unable to avoid entirely, resulting in a long, but shallow, gash across the front of his chest. You'll pay for that, Scarecrow, Zabuza said, bringing the sword down towards Kakashi. who barely managed to duck underneath it to headbutt Zabuza in the chest. Zabuza was lifted bodily by the simple attack, before flying back several feet. He returned to his feet just in time to deflect another kunai from Kakashi, bringing his sword up towards Kakashi's chest. Kakashi jumped above the swing of Kubikiribushu, before bringing another kunai down towards Zabuza, who ducked away from Kakashi, bringing his sword up to prevent Kakashi from following. Zabuza once again moved towards Kakashi, holding his sword beside him as if to bring his sword up in a diagonal swing. Instead, he used his sword as a counterweight, bringing his leg up to kick Kakashi in the side of the head, sending him flying. Kakashi landed in the water, swimming below to retreat before attacking again. Wrong move. Scarecrow, Zabuza said, walking over to the water. Suiten. Suiru no jutsu, he said, bringing part of the water, and Kakashi, up into a sphere. No. I can't do anything from in here, Kakashi thought. Hey. Makes it a little tougher when you can't move, doesn't it? Zabuza taunted. Oh well, I'll take care of you later. Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu, he yelled, forming a clone to attack Team 7. You're not the only one who can make clones, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, yelled Mito, forming 10 clones, which formed a line between Team 7 and Zabuza. The clones all growled aggressively at Zabuza, holding kunais in defensive positions. The Zabuza clone said, looking at the clones, that's pretty neat, for a kid like you to be able to create shadow clones. You're something else. Most Jonin couldn't create 10, but you're still going to lose. Do you know why? No, Mito answered, I am not going to lose. Yes you are. You're weak, Zabuza taunted. All of you have been coddled, treated like kids, instead of the killers that you should be. What? Mito said, that's not true. Oh. Zabuza taunted, by the time I graduated, my hands were already stained with blood, and not only me. Do you know how shinobi in Kirigakure graduated? No, Mito answered, but what does that have to do with anything? For any students to graduate in Kiri, Zabuza said, you had to fight another student of your class, to the death. That's sick. Why would they do that? Yelled Mito, to make sure a shinobi are proper shinobi, that will kill without caring. But to kill your friends to become a ninja, that awful. I never went through with it, said Zabuza, making Kiba laugh in the background. Oh? Said Kiba, but you're telling me you had your hands bloodied by the time you graduated? I did, Zabuza said, but instead of being put in a one-on-one fight, I opted to kill everybody. That's right. A class of more than 100 students, Kakashi said, and you killed them all, in a single day. That earned him the moniker Demon of the Hidden Mist. Not wanting to waste more time, Zabuza's clone ran towards Midas' clone army, but, before the clone made it, it was frozen along with Midas' shadow clones. A thick cold mist gathered around the water. I hoped my target would be easy to find, but to find not only Zabuza but Kakashi of the Sharingan. My luck is better than normal, said a male voice from inside the mist. As the mist cleared, a man standing there at an impressive 5 feet 11, who wore black combat and trousers along with a tight black shirt. Over this, he wore his ice blue trench coat with a hood up, along with a face mask. Zabuza Momochi, the lovely Mizukage wants you back in Kiri, said the man, making Zabuza thrown, forgetting about Team 7. What does that lunatic want with me? He's still pissed that I tried to kill him, said Zabuza, discreetly sending his hidden friend in case things went south. Ah yes, you don't know. There is a new Mizukage now since the rebels won the war. You know her, I believe. Does Mei Terumi ring any bells? Seriously, Mei is the Mizukage. I am surprised that any men are still allowed in Kiri, said Zabuza, making the man chuckle. So will you and your friend come with me to Kiri? I need to get my money for your collection? Asked the man. You must be important if Mei would entrust this job to you. So who are you? I go by the name Sub-Zero, said the now named Sub-Zero with a small bow. Seriously, Mei is the Mizukage. I am surprised that any men are still allowed in Kiri, said Zabuza, making the man chuckle. So will you and your friend come with me to Kiri? I need to get my money for your collection? Asked the man. You must be important if Mei would entrust this job to you. So who are you? I go by the name Sub-Zero, said the now named Sub-Zero with a small bow. There was silence until Kiba barked out a laugh. Ha ha ha. What kind of stupid name is that? Suddenly the water surrounding Sub-Zero froze and the air got colder, sending shivers down everyone's spines. My name was given to me by my deceased master, who got it from his brother, said Sub-Zero, coldly glaring at Kiba, making him whimper silently at how cold the glare was. Excuse my student Sub-Zero-san, he didn't mean to insult you, right Kiba? Asked Kakashi with a look that said apologize or else. Yeah, sorry Sub-Zero-san, said Kiba, bowing slightly. The cold air disappeared. Good, if you hadn't apologized I would have impaled you on a spear of ice, said Sub-Zero, making the Genins and Tazuna turn pale and for Zabuza to grin in respect. I like your style, kid. Maybe one day you could get as infamous as me, smirked Zabuza, liking this kid already. Sorry Zabuza, but I am already in the bingo book as an A-rank Ronin, said Sub-Zero, making the two Jonin wide-eyed and the Genin's jaws to drop. That's bull, you're about our age, how can you already be that well known? Shouted Mito, making Sub-Zero actually look at the rest of Kakashi's team for the first time. Looking over, he saw the spitting image of his mother with some small differences. Not caring that his ex-sister was here, Sub-Zero looked over to the other member of the team and saw a raven-haired beauty that reminded him of someone but couldn't quite place who. Just look in the bingo book. I was placed there after I got attacked by a couple of A-ranked ninja who thought that they could kill me. Idiots all of them, they barely put up a fight. All they were good for was a bit of money, and even that was barely worth it, said Sub-Zero, making all but Zabuza think the same thing. He's so cold. Ha ha ha. I like your style, kid, reminds me of well me, laughed Zabuza, liking this kid more and more. Why thank you Zabuza. But enough talking, if you could signal your companion we will leave, said Naruto, making Zabuza sigh. Sorry kid, but I can go back. Not yet, at least. I need to finish this mission, and if you help me the quicker we get to go back to Kiri. Kakashi froze at that. There was no way he could take on two A-ranked ninjas and defend his genin in the client. Cursing himself for not sending a summon for backup, Kakashi wait to see the events unfold, hoping that something whirled in their favor. Pretending to think it over for a moment, Sub-Zero answered, sorry Zabuza, but I have a couple of people in Wave that are acquaintances of mine and it would be terrible of me to just let them die, said Sub-Zero, making Kakashi, Tazuna and the Genins release a breath they didn't know they were holding. And here I was starting to like you, brat, but it looks like I have to kill you along with the rest. Point his sword at Sub-Zero, who smirked, loving to fight a strong opponent, but suddenly 3 Senbon needles flew out of the forest straight into Zabuza's neck. About to fall to the floor, and person wearing a Kiri Hunter Nin mask appeared and slung Zabuza over their shoulder. Thank you, I have been tracking him for a while. Don't waste your breath, I know you're not a Hunter Nin, you're working with Zabuza. I am here to retrieve you guys, remember, said Sub-Zero, making the Hunter Nin blush underneath the mask, not that you could see it. Without saying another word, the fake Hunter Nin disappeared in a swirl of snow, intriguing Sub-Zero greatly. Perhaps the Lin Kui bloodline is not as dead as I once believed. So Sub-Zero-san, you will be he, was as far as Kakashi got before fainting. Most. What did you do to Sensei? Yelled Mito. I have done nothing to Kakashi, he is suffering from a mild case chakra exhaustion, explained Sub-Zero. TCH. Why should we believe you? Mito tried to argue with a blushing face as she knew she had embarrassed herself. Believe what you want, but, for now, grab your sensei and we will head towards Wave, ordered Sub-Zero with a voice that said, do what I say or it'll hurt you. Following his orders, though reluctantly, Mito creates a couple of shadow clones to carry Kakashi the rest of the way to Nami no Kuni. Nami no Kanai. After a long painful walk, Team 7, Tazuna and Sub-Zero made it to Wave, but got some very strange looks walking to Tazuna's house, since it's not every day you see a group of 4 identical teens carrying an unconscious man. Ignoring the looks they got, the group reached Tazuna's house and knocked. Tsunami-chan, I am home, shouted Tazuna. The next thing the ninjas knew, the door had been flung open and Tazuna pulled into a hug by someone Sub-Zero recognized. San, I am so glad you're back. Are you okay? Asked Tsunami, frantically looking over her father to see if he was injured. Stop fussing over me, I am fine. Thanks to Theses ninja here, especially the 2 in the masks, said Tazuna, making Tsunami look over to the unconscious Kakashi, giving him a worried look. Turning to the other masked ninja, she gasps, recognizing the unique face mask. What's the matter, Tsunami-chan? Asked her father as he saw his daughter start to cry as she looked at the hooded masked ninja. Is that really you? Getting a small nod, Tsunami runs over and pulls him into a tight hug, shocking everyone else. What the hell? Exclaimed the Genin and Tazuna, not knowing what was going on. Releasing him from the hug, Tsunami wiped her eyes. I still can't believe you're here. Inari will be thrilled, he's wanted to meet you again for ages now, said Tsunami as she pulled Sub-Zero into the house, leaving the others dumbfounded at what had just happened. Deciding to follow the pair into the house, they see Tsunami drag Sub-Zero towards the sofa and tell him to sit, which he did, but not before pulling his hood down, showing everyone his wild white blue hair, surprising everyone but Tsunami at the color. It's been a while, huh, Tsunami, said Sub-Zero awkwardly, not knowing what to say to her. Is that all you can say after you left the way you did? Tsunami almost yelled, annoyed. That was all he said after years of not seeing one another. What do you want me to say? I meet you one night and haven't seen you since, said Naruto, making Tsunami blush at the way that sounded. The 3 Genins had to restrain Tazuna from trying to beat the shit out of Sub-Zero after what he just said. But you just left. All I got was a quick goodbye. The others were disappointed. To the three genins blushed at what they heard, but for Tazuna that was the boiling point. Charging into the room, dragging three genins behind him, he pointed at Sub-Zero with fury in his eyes. What the hell did you do with my daughter? Huh? Was all Sub-Zero could say, not having a clue what the old man was talking about. "Tou-san, it's nothing like that," yelled a blushing Tsunami. "Bullshit. Who do you two know each other? What are you, secret lover? And what was that you said about the others? Does that mean he has more women other than you? What happened to my sweet innocent daughter?" yelled Tazuna, making Tsunami blush reach atomic level. "Shut up, Tou-san," screamed Tsunami, instantly making Tazuna stop and for Naruto to hold his ears in pain. "Damn Tsunami, I have heard you scream like that since last time I was here," complained Sub-Zero, holding his ears. "I'll kill you," shouted Tazuna, only to be hit with a frying pan wielded by Tsunami. "That's enough, Tou-san. You have it completely wrong. He is the one who saved me, Inari, and the villagers 5 years ago." Tazuna and the genins who were still holding him back went wide-eyed, not expecting Sub-Zero to be the person who saved Wave's villagers all those years ago. "Wait, you're saying that he was the kid that saved you?" asked Tazuna, still holding his injured head. "Yes, Tou-san, he's the one that saved me and the others from the bandits, but saved me from a worse fate." Without saying another word, Tazuna politely asked the genins to let go of him, which they did. He walked over to the confused Sub-Zero and bowed to him with tears in his eyes. Thank you so much." "No need to bow to me, Tazuna. I just did what any person would do. Besides, if you want to thank anyone, you should thank my master, since he is the one that sent me on that mission." Wiping his teary eyes, "Then I would like to thank your master. Where is he?" asked Tazuna, wanting to show his gratitude. "Sorry. But like I said earlier, my master is dead. Sorry. I just wanted to thank the man that helped save my daughter." "It is not problem, Tazuna. Anyway," Sub-Zero looks over to the 4 clones still holding Kakashi. "Why are you still here? Go and put Kakashi down somewhere," ordered Sub-Zero. "I set up some rooms for you all earlier. Follow me and I'll show you where you can bet." Kakashi-san. The clones followed Tsunami to the room, leaving Tazuna, Sub-Zero and the genins who were looking at Sub-Zero with curiosity, something that was annoying him greatly. "Are you going to keep staring at me?" asked Sub-Zero, making Sayuri talk for the first time since he had turned up. "Who are you?" "I told you already, my name is Sub-Zero." "Yes, but who are you? You're our age, yet you're so much stronger. You know Tsunami-san. You even know the Mizukage personally, so I'll ask again, just who are you?" "Just pick up a bingo book. Most of my info is in there," was the only answer he gave. "We don't have a bingo book, so just tell us," yelled Mito and Kiba, making everybody else hold their ears in pain. "Dear Raiden, that hurt. If you get your friends to shut up, I lend you mine to look at," said Sub-Zero, making Sayuri readily agree. Handing her his bingo book, the 3 genins plus Tazuna opened it to see many names crossed out in black. "Hey, what's with all the black line on people's names?" asked Kiba. "They are all the people I have hunted and killed." All 4 of them went wide-eyed at the amount of names blacked out in the book. Forget that. For now, they flipped through the book until they found his page. Name: unknown. Title: Sub-Zero. Age: 15 to 18. Date of birth: unknown. Blood type: Unknown. Height: 5 feet 11. Weight: 136 to 178 pounds. Rank: affiliation: Ronin, bounty hunter, mercenary. Description: has white, blue hair and has been seen wearing a blue trench coat with a hood, along with a blue face mask. Skills: 1 to 10. Ninjutsu: 9. Genjutsu: unknown. Taijutsu: 8. Kenjutsu: 8. Funijutsu: 9. Information: not much is known about him, but he has never failed to bring in a target or complete a mission. He is friends with Onoki of both scales, Sandame Tsuchikage, see page 55, Kuratsuchi of the Lave style, see page 89. A the Yondaime Raikage, see page 72, Killer Bee, see page 73. Mei Terumi the Godem Mizukage, see page 79, is known to spar with A and Killer Bee. Bounties: Suna: 50,000 are dead or alive. Auto: 61,000 are dead or alive. Aim: 42,000 are alive. Approach with extreme caution. After reading his page, all 4 were wide-eyed with unhinged jaws. "What the hell?" screamed the 4, making Sub-Zero, who was sitting on the sofa talking to Tsunami, turn to them. "So did that answer your questions?" asked Sub-Zero using Kakashi's eye smile. "It just raised more question," exclaimed Sayuri, making Sub-Zero chuckle lightly. Yep, turning back to Tsunami, who had an amused but also confused expression on her face. "What were they reading?" asked Tsunami, wanting to know why the 4 were so shocked. "It's a book that tells you information about dangerous ninja and they read my page," answered Sub-Zero, making Tsunami want to read as well. Walking over to the still shocked four, she picked up the dropped book and read it. A few minutes later, a familiar sound hits Sub-Zero's ears. What the hell? Getting annoyed with the constant shouting, Sub-Zero goes upstairs to check on Kakashi, leaving 5 shocked people behind. Entering the room Kakashi was put in, he finds the Jonin awake and reading his book. As see you are awake, Kakashi said Sub-Zero, making the Jonin close his book and look at him with his usual eye smile. Yep, but I am still very low on chakra. TCH, you have grown weak, Kakashi. Your name used to be feared by most and now look at you. You would have died had I not shown up, not to mention got your team and client killed. Kakashi lowered his head in shame, knowing what he said was true. Anyway, you have a week at most before Zabuza comes back, so you had better prepare your team. Sub-Zero-san, could you teach my students please since I am out of chakra? Asked Kakashi, hoping to get more time to read his book. They are your students, Kakashi, not mine. I plan only teaching those I find worthy, not some random genins that have an incompetent teacher. I see your point, Sub-Zero-san, but whilst I am teaching my students, could you watch the bridge in case Gato decides to send his bandits there? That I can do, and with that Sub-Zero left, leaving Kakashi alone. This is going to be a long mission. Oh, how Kakashi wished he could control time. For others that power would be used to save lives or to rule the world, but for Kakashi he just wanted the power to end this Kami Forsaken week. Ever since his team and Sub-Zero arrived in Wave, it has been one argument after another, from Tazuna screaming about Sub-Zero for corrupting his daughter to his students complaining to him about their training. But thankfully for Kakashi, the mission was almost over. Not that he had done much during this mission other than reading his book, leaving his students to prepare themselves and having Sub-Zero guard the bridge, leaving him alone for what seemed like the first time in a week. Finally, no more shouting. I thought I was going to go deaf a couple of times this week, muttered Kakashi as he flipped a page in his book. Suddenly a cold breeze flew through the room, sending a shiver down Kakashi's spine. Looking up from his book, he sees Sub-Zero with a pissed look in his eyes. Already guessing what this was about, Kakashi put his book away with a disappointed sigh. What did they do this time? Asked Kakashi for what had to be the 7th time this week. For that last hour your 3 students have done nothing but annoy me with a bombardment of questions, ranging from my fighting styles to my hair color, so I have come to give you a warning. If your students don't leave me alone, I will impale them all on spears of ice, shouted a pissed of Sub-Zero, making Kakashi pale knowing that he would go through with it. Nodding to the pissed of Bounty Hunter, Kakashi sighs in relief as Sub-Zero leaving in a small breeze. Why do they have to piss off the guy that could kill them and probably me? Said the Cyclops, before pulling out a familiar orange book. Giggle, oh Amy, you naughty girl. Wave bridge appearing in a swirl of ice. Sub-Zero sees Team 7 sitting down talking about something. Not caring in the least, he walks over to the builders and sits down, ignoring the looks he was getting from the builders. Sitting in quiet for the first time since he started this mission, Sub-Zero started to think about the current situation. So I have a team consisting of my ex-sister, an Uchiha who hasn't unlocked her Sharingan, and a boy who uses a puppy to fight, all being taught by the most incompetent teacher the Leaf Village could find. Great, just great. He was broke from his thoughts when he sensed the 3 genins standing in front of him. As I have just warned your sensei, if you ask me any more pointless questions then I will impale you all on spears of ice, warned Sub-Zero, making the 3 genin and builders who were listening pale at the threat. Actually, we wanted to ask you something, said a slightly paler Mito, still thinking about the threat. I don't care, so leave me be, replied Sub-Zero. This time it was Kiba who spoke. Please just hear us out. Fine, hurry up and ask your question, not needing to be told twice. The 3 bowed. Please teach us, asked the genins. No, replied Sub-Zero without missing a beat. What? Why? Yelled Mito and Kiba, pissed that someone would reject them so quickly, whilst Sayuri remained calm since she expected that kind of response. I said no. I won't teach anyone but my children or people that join my clan, replied Sub-Zero, getting nods of understanding from Kiba and Sayuri, but Mito was different since she had no clan. I don't care about your clan or whatever, I just want you to teach me those cool techniques, yelled Mito. You don't have what it take to join the Lin Kuei, sated Sub-Zero, pissing Mito off. That's it, I am sick of your attitude towards us. So fight me and I'll prove to you that I have what it takes, yelled Mito, making Sub-Zero chuckle darkly. Well then I challenge you to Mortal Kombat, declared Sub-Zero, confusing all of the genins. What the hell is Mortal Kombat? Asked Kiba. I am glad you asked. Mortal Kombat was once the way that people solved disputes like the one we are having right now by fighting till one can no longer fight or death, answered Sub-Zero, making all that heard pale. Isn't that taking this too far? Asked Sayuri, worried for her friend since her opponent was an A-ranked ninja. Don't worry, Sayuri-chan, I'll kick his frozen ass, Datbeo, yelled Mito with fire in her eyes. Don't fool yourself, girl. You can't beat me even if your team helped, mocked Sub-Zero, pissing the three genins off, but enough to for now. We will fight later, since unlike some I intend to do the job I was paid for. And with that he closed his eyes and began to meditate. Walking away, but still pissed at the mercenary team 7, head towards the woods to help Mito practice for her upcoming fight. Annoying brats, but at least I get to see what she can do in a fight, thought Sub-Zero, wanting to see how his ex-sister stacked up to him. 2 days later. Standing in a clearing was Sub-Zero, dressed normally. Apart from his trench coat was missing. Across from him stood Mito, glaring at him, with Kakashi standing in the middle of the two. Okay, as Sub-Zero-san put it, this is a challenge of Mortal Kombat. Anything goes, but please try to avoid killing blows. Getting nods from the two fighters, he continues, well then, if everyone is ready, fight. This isn't worth my time, said Sub-Zero, standing in a lazy posture, reminding them all of Kakashi. Don't underestimate me, you bastard. Sweeten. Water bullet jutsu, screamed Mito, sending a large bullet of water at Sub-Zero, who just folded his arms and shook his head in disappointment. Is that all? I expected more, unleashing an icy aura. Everyone watched as the water bullet froze in midair and dropped to the floor, shattering. What? Sidelines, what the hell just happened, sensei? Yelled Kiba, with Akamaru barking in agreement. I think that Sub-Zero has a bloodline, and a powerful one at that, said Kakashi with a serious look in his eye. A bloodline? You mean like Sayuri's family and those chains the Mito and her mom can use? Asked Kina, getting an eye smile from his sensei. Yes, Kiba, but unlike the Uchiha clan, I think that his bloodline involves ice. I've noticed that when he is emotional the air gets colder, and when you insulted him the lake he stood on froze. That, and he keeps threatening to impale us all on spears of ice, finished Kakashi, making Kiba and Sayuri face palm. How did I not think of that? Back to the fight. What the hell was that? Shouted Mito, scared that one of her best justice was stopped so easily. Was that it? What happened to kicking my frozen ass? Taunted Sub-Zero. I am not done yet, you bastard, shouted Mito, sprinting towards the unmoving Sub-Zero. She launched a high kick to his head, barely moving. He head Sub-Zero dodged the kick, making her kick mid-air. Before she knew it, she was launched into a tree thanks to a punch to her stomach. Is that really all the daughter of the Great Yellow Flash can do? Can't even take a small punch. If Onoki was here we would be laughing his ass off, said Sub-Zero, shaking his head in disappointment. Lying against the tree, she was punched too. Mito was getting angrier and angrier with every passing moment. Midas Mindscape, watching from the deep corners of her mind, two larger end eyes looked at the current scene with amusement as it felt the pull on its chakra. This is about to get more interesting. Back to the fight. Sub-Zero watched as Midas' body was engulfed in a cloak of menacing red chakra. Using the fox's power already. Ah well, let's see if this will help you, taunted Sub-Zero, making the girl growl and charge at him in all fours and single chakra tail swishing behind her. Dodging a swipe, Sub-Zero uppercuts Mito, but this time she dodges and uses her tail to take another swipe at him. Quickly dodging the tail, he jumps over Mito and goes through hand signs and places his hands on the ground. Ice release. Frozen wasteland, causing the entire cleaning, including the trees, to be covered in ice. I could end this fight right now, but where's the fun in that? Show me what you can do, daughter of the Yellow Flash, taunted Sub-Zero, making Mito angrier. Standing up 2 legs, Mito hunches over and says something that shocks him. Adamantine chains. 4 chains of assault, unleashing 4 glowing red chains from her back to a still shocked Sub-Zero. Was not expecting her to get her mother's bloodline. Too late to move, the chains wrap around him, making Mito smirk, thinking she had one. Ha, not so cocky now, or you, mocked Mito. Sidelines. Ha, go Mito, show that bastard, yelled Kiba, whilst Sayuri stood there shocked that her best friend had just beaten an A-rank ninja. It's not over yet, said Kakashi, making the 2 genins look at him in confusion. What are you talking about, sensei? No one can escape those chains, not even the Kyuubi could, said Sayuri, not getting what her sensei meant. I am not surprised you didn't notice, I barely did, just watch and you'll see, said Kakashi, making the other 2 turn back to watch the fight. Back to the fight. What, got nothing to say, taunted Mito, still not getting a reply. She tightened her chains hoping to get a response, but instead Sub-Zero shattered into ice. What? Yelled Mito, not getting how he escaped her chains. I never expected you would inherited those chains, said Sub-Zero as he walked out from the ice-covered tree. How the hell did you get there? Demanded Mito. Now why would I tell you that? He asked. Fine, I'll just beat the answers out of you, Datbeo, declared Mito. Let's see what you do about this ice release. Black Dragon Jutsu, thrusting his arm forward, a large Ethel Dragon launched at the surprised Mito, Not having enough time to dodge, Mito infuses the rest of Kyuubi's chakra into her chains, hoping to destroy the jutsu. As the two jutsus met, Mito was forced back by the strength of it, but after a short struggle he chains prevailed and the dragon broke. You destroyed it. Congratulations, but what will you do about the others? What others? Said a panting Mito between breaths. These ice release. Twin black dragon jutsu, thrusting both arms, two large black dragons were launched at the exhausted Mito. Not being able to dodge the oncoming attack, Mito shut her eyes and prepared for pain. But none came. Opening her eyes, she sees Sub-Zero standing in front of her, holding the two dragons by the head, stopping them from reaching her. Are you okay? Not having the strength to talk, she gave him a weak nod. Good. Now I hope this solves the little dispute. Again another nod. Tensing his hands, causing the two dragons to shatter, Sub-Zero begins to walk towards Tizuna's home, leaving behind two shocked Genins, an exhausted Mito and a worried Kakashi. To be able to beat an enraged Jinchuriku so easily, that man is very dangerous, thought Kakashi before picking up Mito, but sees something on her shirt. Looking closer, he sees a very intricate seal, making him go wide-eyed as he remembered Sub-Zero's words. I could end this fight right now, but where's the fun in that? Show me what you can do, daughter of the Yellow Flash. Very dangerous indeed to be able to beat an enraged Jinchuriki so easily. That man is very dangerous, thought Kakashi before picking up Mito, but sees something on her shirt. Looking closer, he sees a very intricate seal, making him go wide-eyed as he remembered Sub-Zero's words. I could end this fight right now, but where's the fun in that? Show me what you can do, daughter of the Yellow Flash. Very dangerous indeed. End of the week. The long week was finally at its end, and Kakashi and Sub-Zero were ready to shout Kami's praise for it. Ever since the fight with Sub-Zero, Team 7 had changed. Kiba would take his training more seriously. Sayuri would train for longer and harder. The strangest change was Mito. She would behave like her normal brash self, but when Sub-Zero was around she became quieter and would shy away from him. Now on the last day of the week, the bridge was nearly finished and Sub-Zero couldn't be happier since he just wanted to get this mission over with. Guarding Tizuna as normal was Sub-Zero, who was starting to get bored of this mission altogether. May better add a bonus for all the shit I have had to go through to get Zabuza, thought Sub-Zero as he lay on the bridge watching the clouds float by. What felt like days later, the men stopped their work for the day, so he walks back with Tizuna to his house for dinner, mentally hoping nothing weird happens during the meal. Oh, you poor idiot, wahaha. Tizuna's house, Tsunami was happily cooking in the kitchen whilst her guests waited for Tizuna and Sub-Zero to get back so they could eat. After the fight, Team 7 had grown respect for the Ronin, all in their own ways. Kiba respected his strength. Sayuri also respected his strength along with his cool attitude. I needed to make at least one ice pun. Mito, on the other hand, respected his compassion since he willingly saved her even when she insulted him. For her, this made him someone to be respected. Even Kakashi gained a newfound respect for the bounty hunter for his skill in nearly all the ninja aspects. He hasn't seen all of his skills, nor has he read the bingo book. So who do you think would win in a fight, Kakashi-sensei or Sub-Zero? Asked Kiba, making the girls groan. That's the 6th time you've asked us that since the fight, Kiba, and we told you we don't know, yelled Mito. TCH, like I believe that. I bet you think your boyfriend would win, said Kiba, making Mito blush. He's not my boyfriend, screamed Mito, blushing bright red. You so like him, I saw the looks you were giving him after he saved your ass, accused Kiba. I will admit, Mito, you have been acting strangely around him lately, said Sayuri. I don't like that ice bastard, yelled Mito. I wouldn't call him a bastard if I were you, said Voice. Oh yeah? And what are you going to do about it, said Mito, turning to meet the Voice, only to pale as she looked into the icy eyes of Sub-Zero. I'll impale you on a spear of ice, warned Sub-Zero before taking a seat at the table, leaving a pale and embarrassed Mito sitting in silence. Sub-Zero decides to ask Kakashi some questions. So Kakashi, what have you been teaching your genin this past week? Asked the Ronin. Looking up from his book, Kakashi looks over to Sub-Zero. This and that, nothing too special, he answered, making Sub-Zero smirk. Not telling me your team's skills in case I decide to turn. Very smart, Kakashi. But like kids with a new toy, the 3 genins couldn't wait to show off. We learned lots. I learned a couple of earth jutsu along with tree walking, shouted Kiba, making Kakashi mentally face palm since his plan was ruined. I have learned a fire and lighting jutsu along with the tree walking exercise, said Sayuri. I learned a wind and water jutsu along with the tree walking exercise, said Mito, not wanting to be left out. My, that is impressive. Congratulations you 3, especially you Sayuri. Fire and lighting are 2 of the hardest elements to learn, praised Sub-Zero, making a tinge of pink appear on Sayuri's cheeks and a frown to appear on Midas. Before anyone could say anything, Tsunami came into the room carrying dinner along with Inari, who had his normal frown on his face. Sorry for the wait, everyone placing the food on the table. Tsunami and everyone dug into the simple but very delicious meal. Why? Whispered Inari. Why what kid? Why do you bother, you're all going to die? Screamed Inari, surprising everyone at his outburst. Inari, don't say such things, shouted Tsunami. Why not, it's true. No one can stand up to Gato and his army, said Inari, pissing off Team 7. I am not going to lose to some guy who hides behind a group of thugs, shouted Kiba. Yeah, my Ka-chan would kick my ass if I lost to some wannabe gangster, ya know, exclaimed Mito. Liars, you'll all die, they are too strong for you to defeat, yelled Inari, making Sub-Zero sigh. Inari, I promise you that Gato will die, said Sub-Zero, making Inari look at him with tears in his eyes. BB, but they're too strong, cried Inari. I am pretty strong myself, Inari, remember I did save you and your mother all those years ago, so trust me, this country will be saved. And with this final words, Inari let loose his tears and hugged his mother, who smiled at Sub-Zero in gratitude. The rest of the meal was spent in comfortable silence. Midnight, as everyone slept in their beds, Sub-Zero was lying on the sofa thinking about the events that were likely to happen tomorrow. Suddenly the sound of creaky floorboards got his attention. Turning to the noise, he sees a sight that made his jaw drop and almost made him pass out from blood loss. Standing there was Tsunami in a red see-through babydoll with matching panties showing off her gorgeous body. So Sub-Zero, or can I call you Naruto now? Asked Tsunami with a wink, making him nod his head dumbly, getting her to giggle. So Naruto-kun, do you like what you see? She asked whilst doing a pose. Why yes, very much, getting another giggle from her. Walking with sway in her hips, Tsunami circles her arms around his neck. Good. Think of this as more motivation for tomorrow, and with that she kissed the stunned Ronin with passion and lust. Just as Naruto was about to return the kiss, Tsunami pulled back with glazed eyes and a sly smirk. That's just a taste, so make sure you win. Turning away, Tsunami walked back upstairs, swaying her hips, making sure that Naruto was watching her. Well, now I have a serious case of blue balls, whispered Naruto as he lay back down and went to sleep, dreaming about his reward. The next morning, after an awkward breakfast, thanks to the looks Tsunami was giving Naruto something everyone else missed, Team 7, Tazuna and Sub-Zero headed towards the bridge. Alright, the bridge is almost finished, all we need to do is check that everything is secure, ordered Tazuna, getting nods from his workers. After 2 hours of work, the builders deemed the bridge secure, so they took off back home for lunch. Once every worker left, an unnatural mist gathered on the bridge. Well, do your bridge is done, too bad it won't matter, spoke a voice that they all recognized. Come on out, Zabuza, you know this mist won't work, so let's hurry this up since I still need to drag your sorry ass back to Kiri, said Sub-Zero. Good point, I want to collect my money for the old man's head quickly, said Zabuza as the mist cleared, revealing him in the fake hunter Nin. Haku, you kill the 3 genins, ill take on Copycat and Snowcone here, ordered Zabuza. Of course Zabuza-sama, said Haku before disappearing. Say goodbye to your students, Kakashi taunted Zabuza. I trust my students, they're stronger than when we last meet. You may have trained them for a week, but Haku is strong, even stronger than me, said Zabuza, worrying Kakashi. I need to end this quick, thankfully Sub-Zero is here to help, thought Kakashi as he sent Sub-Zero a look. Whatever Zabuza, let's get this over with, said Naruto, covering his fists in ice. Impatient one, aren't you, said Zabuza, taking his sword from his back. We need to hurry, Sub-Zero, the others could be in danger, said Kakashi as he lifted his headband, revealing his Sharingan. Ice release. Twin black dragon jutsu, thrusting both arms forward, 2 black dragons shot out of his arms and clashed, creating an icy tornado, shocking Zabuza. Crap, water release. Water wall jutsu, shouted Zabuza as he created a large wall of water between him and the tornado, only to go wide-eyed when the wall froze and shattered, leaving him to the mercy of the tornado. Before Zabuza got pulled in, he disappeared in a poof of smoke, leaving a log to get frozen and shredded. I got to say, I didn't expect that Haku does know any ice jutsu that destructive, said Zabuza as he went through Hand Seal's water release. Water dragon jutsu, shouted Zabuza, making a huge water dragon rise from the water below and charge at Sub-Zero, who smirked. Fool, didn't you learn anything a minute ago? Lin Kuei technique, ice blast, yelled Sub-Zero as he sent a ball of ice rocketing towards the dragon, freezing it on contact. What the hell? Exclaimed Zabuza, shocked that a small ball of ice could freeze his mighty dragon so easily. Water jutsu are useless against me, Zabuza. You better come up with something quick, or it might be your head I deliver instead. TCH, if swords won't work, I'll kill you the old-fashioned way, said Zabuza as he takes his sword from his back and pointed at Sub-Zero. By cutting you in 2, declared Zabuza. You forgot one thing, Zabuza, stated Sub-Zero. Oh, and what's that? Me. Now guys, summoning. Earth release tracking fang technique, shouted Kakashi as 8 dogs that differed in size burst out of the ground and bit down on different areas of Zabuza, 2 on each leg, 1 on each hand, another on his shoulder, one biting down on the Kabikariocho. It's over, Zabuza, said Kakashi, looking at the trapped Zabuza. Clap clap clap, looks like the demon of the mist was nothing but a baby demon, said a short man with glasses surrounded by an army of bandits. TCH Gado, what are you doing here? Demanded Zabuza. Do you really need to axe? I am here to watch these guys do what you couldn't, kill the bridge builder and destroy this bridge, sneered Gado. You bastard. When I get out of this, I'll cut your head off and shove it up your ass, shouted Zabuza, making Gado laugh. Ha, you can try, I have an army and there is 3 of you, sneered Gado. Make that 7, you midget, yelled Kiba as he, Mito, Sayuri and Haku, who had minor injuries apart from Mito since hers had healed. 3-7, what's the difference when your enemy is an army, yelled Gado. Now kill that old man and earn your pay, shouted Gado. Kill the old man. Get the bastard, kill them all. Mito, Kiba, Sayuri, stay behind us and only kill those that get past, that's an order, ordered Kakashi, getting nods from the genins. Don't worry Kakashi, I've got this, said Sub-Zero as he calmly walked towards the charging army. Oi, don't be an idiot, get back in formation, exclaimed Kiba, but was ignored. Hey look, this guy wants to be a hero, shouted a bearded bandit. Let's show him what happens to heroes, shouted another. I am going to show you one of my most powerful techniques, so watch closely. Lin Kuei's secret technique. Wandering the frozen wasteland, said Sub-Zero barely above a whisper as he placed both his hands on the ground, unleashing ice that froze the ground. The army ran on, making them stop in fright but only to laugh. Haha, that was your ultimate technique, laughed one bandit. Haha, that was so shit. What does I see? Ah, screamed the bandit as Sub-Zero appeared behind him with a sword made of ice sticking out of his stomach, shocking everyone. You all have 1 minute to live. I suggest you use this time to piss yourself, followed by praying to your insignificant god, said Sub-Zero as his body sunk into the ice below. The next minute was nothing short of a massacre. Limbs were lost, blood was spilled and lives were ended, and after a single minute, the army of 300 was nothing but corpses. What the hell are you? Screamed Gado in fright as he looked at a blood-covered Sub-Zero who was standing in the middle of his fallen army. Me, I am your executioner, said Sub-Zero, who appeared a few feet in front of him. Ice blast, shouted Sub-Zero, launching a ball of ice at Gado's chest, freeze and shattering it, letting everyone see his spine and organs. Perfect, I love this finisher. Walking towards the die, Gado, Sub-Zero grabbed his spine with 2 hands and used incredible strength and ripped the midget in 2, shocking Team 7 in the brutality of the kill and making Zabuza smile with pride. Throwing the 2 halves of Gado over the bridge, Sub-Zero walks towards the ninja, noticing that the genins look pale. Well, there ends the tyranny of Gado, said Sub-Zero. Kid, you really are starting to remind me of a younger me. That was once of the most brutal kills I have ever seen. You would fit in well with the 7 swordsmen, praised Zabuza. Sub-Zero-san, may I ask what that technique was? It reminded me of my demonic mirroring ice crystals, asked Haku, who had removed her mask, showing everyone her beautiful face. I haven't seen your jutsu, but mine uses ice to cover the floor or walls to appear instantaneously in the ice, or I create, answered Sub-Zero, giving a brief version. That is so cool, shouted Kiba with stars in his eyes. I will admit that is a very dangerous technique. Where did you learn it? Asked Kakashi, quite shocked that a jutsu like his sensei's existed. Oh, I invented it, said Sub-Zero like it was nothing special, but shocked the others that someone so young could invent such a powerful jutsu. You must be some kind of genius, said Kiba, with Akamaru barking in agreement. I wouldn't say genius, but I am pretty smart. Anyway, let's head back and tell everyone the news. Getting nods of agreement, the ninja headed towards Tezuna's house to tell him the good news. Later that night, after news of Gado's death spread, the people all gathered at the town square and celebrated by throwing a big party. Kiba was trying to flirt with a bunch of village girls. Mito and Sayuri, Haku were trying to ignore all the boys trying to ask them to dance. Kakashi, as normal, was reading his book and giggling. Zabuza entered a drinking contest. Only 2 people couldn't be found. One was Tsunami, the daughter of Tezuna, the other was Sub-Zero, the savior of Nami no Kuni. At Tezuna's house. Are you sure about this, Tsunami? Asked Naruto between kisses. Yes, I am sure. So let's not waste any more time. Insert lemon here. Sorry, I can't write lemons. If someone wants to write one, go for it. The next morning, after a night of partying and other stuff, the ninja stood on the bridge ready to leave, but is stopped by Tezuna as he wanted to make an announcement. In honor of our savior, I believe that we should name the bridge he helped defend after him. Get shouts of approval. Tizuna continued. Well then, since there is no objection, I name this bridge the Great Lin Kuei Bridge, shouted Tizuna, making the people of Wave shout in joy. Thank you, Tizuna, said Sub-Zero with a bow, only to be waved off by Tizuna. It's us that should be thanking you, countered Tizuna. Anyway, I need to get moving. I am already a week behind thanks to this idiot, said Sub-Zero as he pointed at the annoyed Zabuza. Turning to walk away, Sub-Zero was pulled back by Tsunami, who pulled down his mask and gave him a passionate kiss, being careful to hide his face. This got many reactions from the group: a giggle from Kakashi, a thumbs up from Kiba, and weirdly 2 frowns from Mito and Sayuri, but the worst reaction was Tizuna. I knew you corrupted my daughter, you bastard, yelled Tizuna, only to get hit in the head by a frying pan. Shut up, Tusan, warned Tsunami, still holding the frying pan, but stopped when Inari came over. Ka-chan, does that make Sub-Zero my new Tusan? Asked Inari, making her and Sub-Zero blush. That's complicated, Inari, we will talk about it later. Okay sweetie, said Tsunami, trying to fight down her blush. Getting a nod from her son, she turned back to the equally red Sub-Zero and Sub-Zero-kun, please do try to visit, I still need to reward you, she said with a wink. Nodding, Zabuza and Haku heads towards Kiri whilst the Leaf Ninja head towards Konoha. Last time turning to walk away, Sub-Zero was pulled back by Tsunami, who pulled down his mask and gave him a passionate kiss, being careful to hide his face. This got many reactions from the group: a giggle from Kakashi, a thumbs up from Kiba, and weirdly 2 frowns from Mito and Sayuri, but the worst reaction was Tizuna. I knew you corrupted my daughter, you bastard, yelled Tizuna, only to get hit in the head by a frying pan. Shut up, Tusan, warned Tsunami, still holding the frying pan, but stopped when Inari came over. Ka-chan, does that make Sub-Zero my new Tusan? Asked Inari, making her and Sub-Zero blush. That's complicated, Inari, we will talk about it later. Okay sweetie, said Tsunami, trying to fight down her blush. Getting a nod from her son, she turned to Ed back to the equally red Sub-Zero and Sub-Zero-kun, please do try to visit, I still need to reward you, she said with a wink. Nodding, Zabuza and Haku heads towards Kiri whilst the Leaf Ninja head towards Konoha. Now after leaving Wave Country, Sub-Zero, Zabuza and Haku set sail on a boat that Naruto had used to travel there. As the 3 sailed towards Kiri, Sub-Zero sat on the deck, wait to arrive until a feminine voice called out to him. Sub-Zero-san, can I talk to you? Asked Haku. What is it you need to discuss? Well, I wanted to know how you can control ice. Are you a part of the Yuki clan? Haku asked with hope in her eyes. I am afraid I am not part of the Yuki clan, answered Sub-Zero, destroying Haku's hope of finding any of her family. Oh, muttered Haku, looking to the ground, the hope gone in her eyes. But Haku's head shot up. My clan is the originator of your clan, so in a sense we are family, albeit very very distantly, finished Sub-Zero. Not a second later, Haku launched herself at Sub-Zero with tears of joy in her eyes. After letting Haku cry for a minute, Sub-Zero pulls away and looks into Haku's red puffy eyes. Why are you crying, Haku? Sub-Zero asks. I am so happy that I finally have a family, said Haku, not noticing Zabuza watching the two. Of course, you have family, Haku. Seeing Haku's confused look, he continued, you have Zabuza. But I am only Zabuza-sama's tool, said Haku, making a pained expression appear on his face. No Haku, you're not, said Zabuza, stepping into view. At first, I wanted to use you to help me defeat Yagura, but before I knew it I started to see you as the daughter I never had, but I had a reputation to uphold, so I couldn't show it. Now that we are returning to Kiri, I hope that we can start again, if not Iu now, yelled Zabuza as Haku threw herself at Zabuza, hugging the life out of him. Seeing that he was no longer needed, Sub-Zero went inside to sleep. Kiri, sitting behind the Mizukage's desk, was the newly instated Mizukage Mei Terumi. She is a tall, slender woman with green eyes. An ankle-length auburn hair styled into a herringbone pattern at the back, a topknot tied with a dark blue band, and 4 bangs at the front. 2 bangs are short, with one covering her right eye, and 2 are long, crossing each other on her bust, or just below her chin. She wears a dark blue dress that falls just below her knees. Underneath she wears a mesh armor along with a white belt, along with high-heeled sandals and shin guards reaching up over her knees. Stupid paperwork, it's the curse of all cages, complained Mei as she worked through a massive pile of paperwork. And when will Sub-Zero-kun get back with that Zabuza baka? Said Mei, making her bodyguard Ao snort. I bet he won't find Zabuza and will just leave with the first half of the money. That man is a mercenary, Mei-sama, and should NT be trusted. I know I won't ever trust the man, said Ao, was not trusting the masked mercenaries, since all mercenaries ever cared about is money and will do anything to get it. Won't find, man, ever, Mei inwardly repeated over and over. Mei-sama, are you listening to me? Ax Ao. Ao, shut up or I'll kill you, said Mei with a smile, scaring Ao. What did I say? Thought Ao. Ignoring her scared bodyguard, May went back to doing paperwork but was soon interrupted by a knock at the door. "Enter," said May, happy to get a distraction from her paperwork. As the door opened, May's secretary came in with a slightly scared look on her face. "Mizukage-sama, you have 3 guests, one is Zabuza Momochi and the other is Sub-Zero-san," said the secretary, making May's smile brighten. "Show them in," said May with joy in her voice. "Of course Mizukage-sama," said the secretary with a bow before leaving the room to get them. As soon as the secretary left, May jumped out of her seat and looked at her reflection in the window and started to reapply her makeup, confusing Ao. "May-sama, what are you doing?" "Ao asks, making sure I look good for Sub-Zero-kun." "What else?" she replied like it was obvious, making Ao sweat drop. "Of course, how I should have known," said Ao. After May made sure she was presentable, she sat back down and waited for them to arrive. Not a minute later, a knock was heard on the door. "Come in," said May in a seductive voice, making Ao sweat drop again. As the door opened, May and Ao were greeted by the sight of Zabuza Momochi getting scolded by a teenage girl and Sub-Zero chuckling at the pair. "Missions accomplished, Mizukage-sama," said Sub-Zero professionally. "No need for formalities, Sub-Zero-kun. May-chan is fine," said May, getting a sweat drop from Ao and Zabuza, a glare from Haku and an eye smile from Sub-Zero. "Very well, May-chan," said Sub-Zero, getting a smile from May and scowl from Haku. "Oh, and take that mask of you, look so much better without it," said May, but pouted when he shook his head. "Please, Sub-Zero-kun, I want to see your handsome face," said May. "You never know, May-chan, I could be ugly," said Sub-Zero, making her pout. "Please, Sub-Zero-kun, I want to see it." Looking over to Haku, May sees the hope in her eyes and smiles. "And I am sure I am not the only one," said May, making him sigh. "Nope, not happening," said Sub-Zero, making May and Haku pout. "Now, May-chan, I need to leave since Onoki wants to see me, so can I please get my pay?" asked Sub-Zero, making May get a sly look on her face. "I'll only pay you if you show me your face," said May with a smile. "No, that's not going to happen, May-chan, so please just pay me," said Sub-Zero, making May's eyes start to water. "Sigh, how about I tell you something only 7 people know?" offered Sub-Zero, making May's eyes light up. "Oh, and what would that be?" May asked. Walking towards May, Sub-Zero leant over the desk and whispered in her ear. "My real name," he whispered, making May gasp in shock. Nodding her head, Sub-Zero whispered it to her, making her smile. "So I finally get to know my future husband's name. This is great," thought May as Sub-Zero stepped back. "Now make sure you keep that a secret or forget about me ever working with you or Kiri again," warned Sub-Zero, making her nod. "Don't worry, Sub-Zero-kun, I'll keep it a secret. Now as for you pay, it will be transferred into your account within the next few days," said May, getting a thankful nod from the mercenary. "Thank you. May-chan, send me a message if you require my services again. For now, I need to go see the old man, and Kuro-chan will get pissed off if I am late again," said Sub-Zero, getting a chill down his spine as he remembered last time he showed up late to a job for the old man. He didn't notice May and Haku's scowls at the mention of Kuro-chan. "This Kuro-chan wouldn't happen to be Kurodasuchi, granddaughter of Onoki, would it?" asked May, annoyed that another woman had caught Sub-Zero's eye. "Yeah, that's Kuro-chan, she makes me call her that for some reason," said an oblivious Sub-Zero, making everyone sweat drop and think the same thing. "He can't possibly be that dense, can he?" Cough asterisk. "Anyway, good luck on your travels and do make sure you stop by every now and then. I do ever so love your company," said May with a wink, making a light blush appear on Subaru's face, not that anyone could see it. "Of course, May-chan, now I really must get going, so see y'all later, Zabuza." Haku-chan, having said his goodbyes, Sub-Zero disappears in a cyclone of snow and ice. "Tch, show off," muttered Zabuza before getting a chill go down his spine. Turning, he sees May give him a sickly sweet smile. "Now Zabuza Baka, you're going to explain why you choose to run away instead of helping the rebellion," said May, her smile never wavering. "Crap," was all the man said before he jumped out of the window with May in pursuit, spitting globs of lava at him. "No use running, Zabuza Baka, I am going to catch you and melt your balls off," shouted May. A moment's silence for that poor bastard. With Naruto appearing outside of Kiri, Naruto bites his thumb, drawing a small amount of blood, and then goes through a quick sequence of hand signs before shouting Kachiyose no Jutsu, creating a large plume of smoke. As the smoke cleared, a western dragon the size of a 2-story house with light blue scales and glowing yellow eyes appeared. "Oh, Sub-Zero, why'd you summon me?" asked the mighty beast. "Sorry, Winter Fang, I need a lift to Iwa pronto if Kuro-chan will kill me," said Sub-Zero, making the dragon chuckle. "Haha, your mate has you whipped already," laughed Winter Fang. "Oi, I am not whipped, and she's not my mate, you stupid reptile," exclaimed Sub-Zero. "Whatever you say, Snowball, just get on, I have training with father soon." Climbing on the back of Winter Fang, the duo took off into the sky and towards Iwa. Gates of Iwa. Sitting at the gate were Iwa's eternal gate guards Kuroda and Koizumi, 2 Chunin that got suckered into being the gate guards. The two sat in their booth playing cards. Ha, red M and weep, said Koizumi, who was holding a full house. Koizumi, we're playing rummy, said Kuroda with a sweat drop. I knew that. I was just testing you, that's all, exclaimed Koizumi with a grin, making his friend facepalm. Whatever, let's play. Aga, wait, do you hear that? Asked Kuroda. Nope, all I hear is the wind and a loud flapping sound, answered Koizumi, only to get hit in the back of the head by an angry Kuroda. That's what I was talking about, he yelled. Oh, my bad, apologized Koizumi. Whatever, let's just go see what it is. With that, the two left there both to see the cause of the strange sound. Looking up to the sky and seeing nothing, the duo were about to return until Koizumi saw a small black dot in the sky that was headed towards them. Hey, Kuro, what do you think that is? Asked Koizumi. My guess that's the cause of that noise. Get ready in case we have to fight. The two pulled out a kunai each and hid behind them. As the dot got closer, the two went wide-eyed. In the distance was a western dragon flying towards them at incredible speed. Not sure what to do in this situation, the two kept their guard up and waited for the dragon to get closer. As the beast got closer and closer, they could see more details of the beast, like its light blue scales and his yellow slitted eyes, but the most bizarre thing was what looked like a man riding in its back. Oi, you're seeing this too, right? Muttered Kuroda. Of course, I see it. The thing is pretty hard to miss, exclaimed Koizumi. Not the dragon, the guy riding on it, shouted Kuroda, making Koizumi squint his eyes trying to get a better look until he saw him. There's a guy on that thing. I just said that, you moron, exclaimed Kuroda whilst punching Koizumi in the head. Oi, you two, stop bickering, shouted a voice the two recognized. Turning to the voice, they see Sub-Zero standing next to the dragon. That was you, Sub-Zero. Damn, where'd you get the dragon? Asked Koizumi. Summoning contract, thanks, Winterfang, you can go now, said Sub-Zero. Whatever, Snowball, tell your mate to get you on a tighter leash, joked Winterfang, making the two guards laugh and pissing off Sub-Zero. Ha ha ha, I bet he's talking about Kuretsuchi, the two said together. Ha ha ha, told you, laughed the dragon before disappearing in a poof of smoke, avoiding a spear of ice. Tch, stupid reptile, muttered Sub-Zero before walking towards the village, leaving the gate guards to laugh at his expense. Haha, so wanna bet that him and Kurotuchi to get together? Asked Koizumi, getting a snort from Kuroda. That's a sucker's bet. Tsuchikage Office Onoki. The Sandame Tsuchikage Onoki is a very short, old man with a triangular beard and a mustache that has angular corners. A big red nose and thick eyebrows. The top of his head is completely bald. Although, he has long white hair on the lower half of his head, which is styled in a traditional Chanmage haircut, the back of which is tied with a yellow ribbon into a topknot. Onoki wears a green and yellow coat with a red collar. Underneath he wears the traditional Iwagakure outfit, consistent of a light green version of Iwagakure's flak jacket and mesh armor. He, however, has both his sleeves of his shirt but kept the single lapel on his right side. Along with this, he wears sandals. Currently, Onoki was rubbing his temple trying to soothe the building headache he was getting. The cause of his headache was his granddaughter Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi had short, black hair and pupil-less, pink eyes that are accentuated by her eyelashes running upwards at the corners. She wears the standard attire of the Iwa Nin, consisting of a red uniform with her right sleeve missing and a lapel over her right leg, the brown Iwagakure flak jacket, fishnet tights and a skirt over them. She also wears regular shinobi sandals and a pair of gloves. I can't believe he's late, yelled a pissed off and frustrated Kuretsuchi as she stomped around her grandfather's office. Not knowing how to calm his granddaughter, Onoki prayed for something to happen. As if Kami heard his prayers, a swirl of ice and snow appeared, revealing Sub-Zero. Yo, old man, greeted Sub-Zero, making a tick mark appear on Onoki's forehead, but quickly went and was replaced by a sinister smile, something that creeped Sub-Zero out. Naru-kun, what did I tell you about being late? Naruto went wide-eyed and pale as he heard that voice. Turning around, he saw Kuretsuchi with her arm encased in rock with steam coming off of it, meaning she combined it with her lava release. Hey, Kuro-chan, sorry about being late, but Zabuza wouldn't quite his mission, so I had to stay and wave until he was finished, and then Mei-chan wouldn't let me leave until she saw my face, said Naruto, who quickly covered his masked mouth, realizing what he had just said. So you show this hussy Mei your face but not me, exclaimed an angry Kuretsuchi, who tried to hit him with her rock, lava-covered arm. Stop moving so I can hit you, she yelled, swinging her rock, lava arm around. Stop, Kuro-chan. I never showed her my face, so please stop, begged Naruto, who was hiding behind a nervous Onoki. Releasing her jutsu, Kuretsuchi walks over to him and holds him by the collar of his shirt. Good, and for being late you have to take me out, said Kuretsuchi with a sickly sweet smile, making him rapidly nod. Good, and make sure it's somewhere nice, she said before releasing him and turning to look at her grandfather. Now that you two have done flirting, it's time to talk business. Naruto, I have a mission for you. But it's one not even you will take, said Onoki with a serious look. I am sure I can do the mission, old man. So what is it, another suicide S rank, or am I saving a country again? No, nothing like that. I want you to accompany me to Konoha for the Chunin exams, said Onoki, making Kuretsuchi scream in protest. No, I refuse to let him go back there. Kurotuchi, be reasonable, you know I wouldn't ask this if it wasn't important, said Onoki, trying to reason with her. Nope, not happening, I won't let him, she said defiantly, making Onoki sigh, knowing she was as stubborn as he was. I'll do it, said Naruto after thinking it over, shocking the two. Really? What? The two shouted in surprise, getting a small chuckle from the Iceman. I'll do it, he repeated. Excellent, I'll begin preparations immediately, said Onoki, who began to think who else would accompany him to the exams. Hold up, old man. Naruto, are you sure you said you never wanted to return there? Asked Kurotuchi, making sure her friend and not-so-secret crush was sure with this. I am sure, Kuro-chan, I hold not hate for Konoha, I simply don't care about it or anyone there, answered Naruto, making her nod with a small smile, happy that he had forgotten about his old home. Good, now that's settled, we have a 1 week before the exams start. Competing for Iwa will be Team 6 consisting of Kurotuchi, Akatsuchi and Yukari, our most powerful genin team. I, Naruto and Han will be arriving after the month break between the second and third event with the other cages.
Sounds good. Now I need to go and find a hotel for a week. See you two later, said Naruto as he was about to walk out the office until Kuretsuchi shouted in protest, you're not staying in some hotel, you can stay with me, I mean us, said a blushing Kuretsuchi, hoping that he didn't catch her mistake. Luckily for her, he didn't. Are you sure I don't want to impose? He asked, making Onoki chuckle. It's fine, my boy, we have plenty of room, said Onoki hopefully. With them under the same roof he will notice her feelings, thought Onoki, mentally smiling at the thought of those two together. See, Naruto-kun, I told you. Now come, I'll show you there so you can get settled, and remember you owe me dinner, warned Kuretsuchi with a mock glare. Sure, Kuro-chan, it's a date, said Naruto with an eye smile, causing her cheeks to turn red from embarrassment, getting a small chuckle from Onoki, who noticed. Whatever, now come on, you have to go and unpack, she said as she walked off with a bit of extra sway in her hips, following her, not wanting to piss her off. Onoki calls out to him. Naruto, just one more thing, said Onoki. What's that, old man? He asked. How does it feel to be whipped? Onoki said with a smirk, pissing Naruto off. Why do people keep saying that I am not whipped? Exclaimed Naruto. Hurry up, Naruto. The two heard Kuretsuchi yelled from down the hall coming. Naruto replied as he walked out the office, trying to ignore Onoki making whipping sounds at him. Haha, not even together and she has him wrapped around her finger. Ought to be young again, Onoki muttered before getting back to his paperwork. Streets of Iowa. As the two walked towards Tsuchikage Manor, Naruto couldn't help but notice all the looks they were getting. Is this normal, Kuro-chan? He asked. For me, yes, since I am the granddaughter of a cage, and remember you're famous too, especially here after your last spar with Han and Roshi, said Kuretsuchi. Forgot about that. How are those two anyway? He asked. Pretty good. After you meet them they started opening up more, and the people of Iowa now hold them in high regard, especially Han, since everyone who mistreated him feels incredible bad, said Kuretsuchi, happy that those two were happy. That's good, I'll have to go and see them whilst I am here, maybe have another spar, exclaimed a happy Naruto, making Kuretsuchi giggle at his excitement. You can fight later, we're here, so go and unpack and be ready by 8 p.m, ordered Kuretsuchi. Yes, ma'am, said Naruto with a salute before disappearing into the manor. Tch, smart ass, she muttered with a small grin. 8 p.m. Naruto was nervous, very nervous. He had never been on a date before, and his first was with a cage's granddaughter, so if he fucked up he would know about it. Looking at himself in the mirror, he had to admit he looked good. He was wearing a dark blue suit with a matching waistcoat and tie with a white buttoned-up shirt underneath, along with black dress shoes and, of course, his ever-present face mask. Not bad, but I bet she wants me to take the mask off. Naruto thought to himself, waiting for what felt like eternity. Have you ever waited for a woman to get ready? It's like watching paint dry. Naruto heard a familiar voice coming from the stairs. Well, don't you clean up nice? Turning around, Naruto's breath caught in his throat. Standing there was Kuretsuchi, wearing a red dress with a slit on the right showing of her toned legs. You know, even with that annoying mask, flies might fly in there if you keep your mouth open like that, teased Kuretsuchi, snapping Naruto out of his shock. Sorry, Kuro-chan, it's just that you look amazing, he said honestly, making her blush. So do you, Naruto-kun, even with that stupid mask, said Kuretsuchi, muttering the last bit. I like the mask, it adds mystery. Now come on, I have reservations at the Red Lily for 8:30, so let's go, said Naruto, offering her his arm, which she gladly took. Walking towards the restaurant in comfortable silence, the two entered the restaurant, ignoring the looks from everyone, walking up to the maitre d', who was a kind-looking man with a well-trimmed mustache. Table for two under Sub-Zero, said Naruto, getting the man to smile. Ah yes, we have been expecting you, please follow me, sir. Madam, said the man, who lead them towards a private booth. Here we are, please look over the menu and I will send a waitress to come and take your order when ready. With that he walked off to tend to his other duties. Anything caught your eye? Asked Naruto, making Kuretsuchi look at him. Oh, one or two things, she replied. After ordering their food, the two began to have some light conversation. So Kuro-chan, you finally happy to become a chunin? Yeah, it's great, she exclaimed. The only reason I am still genin is because the old man wanted to wait until the chunin exam so that we can show I was power, said Kuretsuchi, not really caring about her rank. I thought it was something like that since A is doing the same thing this year, said Naruto, making her smile. Great, that means there will be strong opponents, said Kuretsuchi. Continuing their meal, the two talked about what they had done since the last time they saw each other. Finishing their meal, the two left the restaurant and headed back to Onoki's manor. After walking in comfortable silence, the two got back to the manor and went inside. Thanks for a wonderful night, Naruto-kun, said Kuretsuchi with a smile on her beautiful face. I am glad you enjoyed it, Kuro-chan, but I think it's time we call it a night, said Naruto, who was about to walk up the stairs until Kuretsuchi pulled his arm and turned him around, confusing him. Kuro-chan, what's the matter? Before he knew it, she had pulled his mask down at the cheek and gave it a light kiss before pulling away. Thanks for dinner, Naru-kun, said Kuretsuchi before walking up the stairs and into her room, leaving a shocked Naruto behind. Getting out of his daze, Naruto walked up the stairs and into his temporary room and slept, knowing he would have to prepare before his newest mission. Thanks for watching.